that are coming up, this is the dream. This is what they've been playing for.
The Challenger teams are stronger than they've ever been.
You have to win this match.
I think the hottest team right now has to be LMQ.
目前来讲，是我们所打过的比赛最重要的一场。
Ackerman a little too far forward. Ackerman goes down, but they pull that back. No, he doesn't. What? He's alive.
I think LMQ would definitely be really hard to verse. I think they're really strong and probably the best challenger team right now.
我为了这场比赛可以付出一切。
There's a lot of pressure on XDG.
Lemonation very low. That's going to force a flash. Sheep comes in and gets the kill for XDG.
Our jobs depend on winning. 我们绝对可以打败 XDG.
Everything's on the line for us this weekend.
Welcome everyone to day one of the 2014 North American League Championship Series Summer Promotion Tournament. We're coming to you live from our studio here in the City of Angels. Hey, I'm David Freak Turley, and manning the co-caster chair, Sam Kobe Hartman-Kensler.
Oh, it's promotion time, Freak.
It's promotion time.
I'm ready. Are you ready?
Yep. Everyone's getting raises. Promotion time. We've got a big slate of games ahead of us that will shape the North American LCS Summer Split as teams duel for 3 coveted spots. But first, let's take a quick look at the latest from around the league. We start in North America, where Cloud9 once again stand at the top of the table.
Yeah, they had a very impressive playoff, sweeping the semifinals to go 5-0 and secure their title of the Spring Split champions. And that means that Cloud9 have never lost a North American playoff game and are 10-0. And they're going to head to All-Stars riding an 18-game winning streak.
Yeah, but there were other ripples from playoffs as Nien announced that he'd be stepping down from Counterlogic Gaming's starting lineup.
CLG ended the playoffs in 3rd, but Nien was disappointed in his own performance, and he said that stepping down would give the rest of his team a higher chance of success with an eye towards Worlds.
Yeah, he said that he's actually going to be working on top lane. He'd be returning, so we'll see Nien in the future, just maybe not on CLG. Heck, maybe they pick him back up. They realize he's their best option. I feel like
couple months, maybe.
I feel like there's a chance that actually happens anyway. And in the European League, they just concluded their summer promotion tournament, and there are actually some huge moments that had you guys racing to Twitter.
All right, at Siren Knows says, you can flash a playful trickster to deal damage at the end of it. Oh, question mark? Yes, today I learned way to demand an LCS big play spot.
Yeah, from Super Hot Crew versus Cloud9 Eclipse, here's your number 1.
Oops.
Selfie wants another.
Yeah, Yannen's just about to discover the exact same problem.
That was awesome. He flashed to land the playful trickster and kill Hyonan. I didn't even think that was going to connect. Well played, Selfie.
He got that kill all by himself. Remember, you can hop on Twitter and tell us your favorite plays of the day by tweeting hashtag LCS Big Plays. The European LCS Summer Split will look a lot like the Spring Split, with all 3 teams holding onto their spots.
Yeah, Super Hot Crew swept their best of 5 against Cloud9 Eclipse, and Millennium took it to 5 games in their battle against the Ninjas in Pajamas and pulled out the win in the end.
And locking in the last spot were the Copenhagen Wolves, who bested Denial Esports 3-1. Now here in the North American LCS, there are 3 spots open and 6 teams hungry for a place in the bigs.
We start our week with 8th place XDG Gaming versus the Challenger Series champs, LMQ, in a best-of-5 series.
Then tomorrow we continue our promotion tournament with 7th place Evil Geniuses facing off against Cloud9 Tempest, and we'll conclude the day with a matchup between 6th place Coast and Complexity Black. Now, there's been a lot of talk about LMQ this year, so let's take a closer look at the Chinese powerhouse. We start in the top lane with Ackerman. People will remember him from the 2013 World Championship, where he played for the 2nd place finish with Royal Club under the name Godlike.
In the jungle is No Name, who hasn't gotten as much attention as the rest of his team, but he's been a consistent workman, and he has the highest KDA for junglers in the North American Challenger Series, standing at 5.3.
Next up, it's Xiaowei Xiao, who has been the carry for his team. He's an extremely strong mid laner, and he's very farm-focused, playing champions like Orianna and Nidalee.
And their AD carry is Vasily. For months, he's been in the top 10 in solo queue, and he's held the top spot for a period of time as well.
Finally, his lane mate is More on support, who's also been top 10 in solo queue, and is actually just 1 spot behind Vasily right now on the live ladders. Now remember, you can always read more about the teams and players, as well as find stats over at lolesports.com.
And while you're there, be sure to let us know which team you think will win each of today's matches. Just click on the schedule and give a thumbs up to your choice.
You can also read up on a rapidly approaching All-Star event in Paris and vote to shape the All-Star Challenge. This week, you can pick a champion that must be played in Earth mode. But now let's send it over to Jat to preview today's action.
Thanks, Freak. I am Joshua Jat Leisman, and joining us on the analyst test today is William Scarley and Christian Rivera, or, as people know, I Will Dominate. And guys, I just want to talk about these matches real quickly, starting with LMQ. We just saw how high all those guys are rated in solo queue. How big of an advantage, let's start with you, Scar, does that actually play in this series for them, their solo queue skill?
I think mechanical skill can matter a lot, but I think the team with just the... I guess it's a little bit strange because the amateur scene games I typically watch don't have many rotations. So I feel like individual skill will matter quite a bit in the amateur series. So it does matter that they're all really high in solo queue, but I don't want to overvalue them because superior teamwork will beat mechanical skill every time.
Dominate with the rotations of XCG. They have been an LCS team. Do they have an advantage there because of their experience here, or is the solo queue strength of LMQ going to shine through?
I think that they're probably on the same level rotation-wise right now, so I think that it's actually going to be pretty big that LMQ is such high-rated players and such good mechanical players. A lot of it's going to come down to, I think, mid lane. Zhao is going to play great. I can just tell, like, just from playing with him in solo queue, he's ready for these matches, so I'm really excited to see what he pulls out. Yeah, actually, Scar, Xiao versus ManCloud, you're a mid laner yourself. How do you see those guys matching up? Because they're really prolific farmers, both of them.
Yeah, actually, Cloud with the highest average CS of anyone in the LCS. Yeah. I think Zhao is a monster. He's definitely a superstar on their team. And a lot of people consider that team to be a 2-carry team. And in my eyes, it's like a 1-carry team. Like, if Zhao goes off, he goes off. And I feel like it's kind of the same thing for XTG, but XTG is also much more dependent on their jungler to make plays. So if Cloud has a good day, he's one of the best laners in A. But if he's having an off day, then anything could happen. I really think it's just down to whoever will win the first game will close out the series.
And as far as XTG goes, though, they had a lot of those roster shakeups mid-season. As a jungler yourself, I Will Dominate. What does Xsmithy have to do to kind of return to his former glory and help him in this series?
I think that it's just something that takes a lot of time. When you're out of the jungle for that long, it completely changes what you have to do. Early on, it was all about early gank junglers and being able to pressure lanes. And throughout the season, it kind of shifted away from that. Now you have Feral Flare, so you're going to have more Nocturne in there and more farm junglers. So I think it's just about him adapting to the patch quickly. And I think that if he plays as well as he has been, I think that he'll be able to be fine in this game.
Yeah, it's a pretty strong vote of confidence. I know we're going to be coming back to this the whole time, but if you had a prediction for the series, the score of it, 3-1, 3-2, for which team and why?
For me first?
Go for it.
God, I was going to say 3-0 XTG, honestly, coming into this, but then I'm not as confident as I was initially. I want to say, I still agree with whoever wins the first series, game will win the whole series. I think I'll just go with the controversial opinion. I'll go 3-1 XCG.
Damn, so I Will Dominate?
I actually have, I guess, the opposite opinion. I like XDG a lot. I'm friends with all their players, but I think that LMQ is really hot right now, and they've been working hard for this moment. So I think probably 3-1 LMQ. That's what I would say.
All right, so completely different opinions right there. I also want to get your thoughts on our social media question of the day. We're asking you, which player are you most excited to see play this weekend and why? Dominate, we'll start with you.
Zhao. He's just an absolutely great player. I love his diversity of champs that he can play. He can play Nidalee and Orianna just great. He can play in any type of comp. And he's my duo queue partner from solo queue, and I think he's going to play great.
Duo queue partner. Scar, how about yourself?
I was actually really excited for the clash of the two mid laners. Like, this is my most anticipated game. And I really, really hope that this turns out to be a great series.
All right, so same pick from both these guys. Well, we're going to be seeing that pretty soon. For you at home, write us at LOL Esports, use the hashtag LCS, and then stay tuned to see if your answer gets read later in the show. But we've got to take a quick break. The Summer Promotion Tournament is just getting underway. When we come back, we'll jump right into our best of 5 series between XTG Gaming and LMQ to see who will be playing in the North American LCS. Don't go anywhere.
the summer promotion tournament, guys, here in North America, and our first matchup between XDG Gaming and LMQ. Now, Kobe, it's hard to imagine a team that went to the World Championship last year, beat Fnatic in the group stage. They're now sitting in 8th place fighting for their LCS spot.
Yeah, XDG have been in the LCS for 3 splits now, so they are the veterans of the league. And now they're playing to continue in the North American LCS. Last year, they didn't have the best postseason performance, and they tried to treat the problem by making a big role swap with Smithy moving to AD carry and Zuna moving to the jungle. That didn't work out, and the rest of the regular season was marred by roster swap after roster swap as they tried to find a combination that worked. But the problems have extended past the lineup changes. We haven't seen players doing as well individually as they have in past years either. And the good news, though, is that they've played with this current lineup for a longer stretch than they have with any other this season. And it's with this team setup that they defeated Cloud9 and TSM, the 2 top teams in North America.
So now we'll see if they can face the top team from the Challenger Series in LMQ.
You can't understate how well LMQ have done this year. They only dropped 3 games this spring on their way to winning 2 championships and taking the Challenger Series playoffs. They are going to be fighting very hard for a spot in the LCS.
So with so much on the line, both teams say that researching their opponents has been the focus of their preparation.
LMQ, they're a really good team. Just coming into the North American scene, they were so dominant because they're extremely good players, very talented from the Chinese scene, and they just transferred their skill and tools over here.
我们第一次遇到 LCS 的队伍，然后我们相信他肯定比之前遇到的所有队伍都要厉害更多。
Over the weeks that we had until relegation, we formed a game plan and spreadsheet on what they like to play, what their priorities are, and we just worked on our own game, what we're going to pick.
Their teamwork is so solid. Even if you look at some of the bottom LCS teams, their teamwork isn't that fluid, and LMQ have recovered from really big deficits because you can't make those comebacks or snowball lead if you're not on the same page as your teammates.
我觉得这其实对双方来讲都是就是非常重要的比赛，因为这也是关系到 LCS 名额的。
I don't think being in the LCS really gives us that much of an advantage over the challenger scene. Like, sure, our competition would be a little stronger, but we both have equal amount of tools to like research on one another. Like, they can watch all of our games, see our picks and bans, how we play the map, and we do the same for them. We're as prepared as we'll ever be.
We haven't played a competitive best of 3 or best of 5 in quite some time, but I think it definitely gives the better team the best chance of winning. So whoever wins is the better team.
And now let's check out the starting lineups, guys. On the blue side is XDG. Benning in the top lane, Smithy in the jungle, ManCloud in the mid lane, Zuna on AD carry, and Sheep on support.
And on the red side, it's LMQ. Up top is Ackerman. In the jungle, No Name. Xiao mid, Vasily AD carry, and supporting him, More.
And today's featured matchup will be what Scar wanted, actually, a battle in the mid lane, ManCloud versus Xiao.
Yeah, there's a reason for it. Both of these players are definitely known for being able to farm their lanes very well, and ManCloud, as I said, led the LCS with 77.9 CS at 10 minutes in his regular season play. And to give you a frame of reference, the average in the North American LCS is 72.4. In the Challenger Series, though, Xiao in the playoffs, he averaged 83.9. So if ManCloud can control mid, then it will give XG a crucial advantage as they look to regain their LCS status.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see sort of which XDG shows up as well, and even like which ManCloud. Because I know Scar talked about the mid lane matchup being so important, and that game 1 kind of like determining who wins the series. And there's went to Worlds, beat Fnatic, and there's 8th place LCS, and I want to know which one shows up.
Mandatory Cloud or ManCloud? The old one or the new one?
It's true. It's true. Or will it be like a possibility Cloud and he just, gets blown away or something?
Well, XDG are definitely going to be relying on him because, as Scar said, Xiao is a big force for LMQ, and he can easily carry the entire team to a victory.
Definitely can. So we're starting out with 2 mid lane bans, Nidalee and Ziggs being removed. 2 good farmers. Ackerman's Renekton also dropped away here. I want to see just how well Benny adapts to 4.5. We actually haven't seen XDG play on 4.5. Of course, they weren't in the playoffs, and so they've had kind of a patch and a half in darkness that are prepared to get their strats ready that LMQ shouldn't have been able to research.
Yeah, and on the same note, LMQ, they were known for a really strong early game. Now this is the age of Pharaoh Flare, though, and people are going to like to be farming up. Xiao can farm mid lane just fine. He can play defensively if he has a defensive jungler that's, trying to farm large camps.
It's actually an interesting thought because Xiaowei Xiao is a player who will regularly take Wraiths and Wolves back and forth. And if No Name wants those, like he's playing Xin Zhao or Nocturne, then he's actually taxing his own team.
It'll be the battle over the enemy Wraith camp.
Yeah.
Who can steal those away?
Take the enemy ones instead. Smite them out if you need.
All
so
right.
Soraka comes through, though. That's going to be grabbed for most likely ManCloud in the mid lane, but LMQ looking at their own champions. Maybe that is going to be a fair
I would definitely expect Soraka to be picked on this patch for any team that even knows how to play her a little bit. She's extremely strong for us in the mid lane, and that is going to give XEG a big foothold with which to work from. It's very similar to the old Renekton style where he can bully his lane early. She's extremely difficult to gank as well because she is strong in 2v2s.
Well, we're going to see how this pans out, though, because I feel like the junglers are almost swapping styles a bit to this point. No Name, going for that Nocturne, going for a Feral Flare type jungler. The Morgana's here for more, so they've got a safe back line. LMQ known to play very good at poke compositions. I wouldn't be surprised to see Orianna come through to have some kind of engage. But Smithy actually is going to be the one maybe going for a standard Lizard Elder.
I like that you mentioned Orianna because that was where I was going to go with. If there is a good pick against Soraka, it's Orianna.
Yeah.
She's actually one who can handle her in lane. All you have to do is zone with the ball, and Soraka does have to get pretty close for Star Call. So Orianna has the easiest time of anybody, I guess, versus Soraka in lane.
Well, but XDG, they're very much going for a team fight composition, though. Some of the lanes are really good. Of course, I got a Kha'Zix jungle there. But you keep the Twitch alive with all the heals. You have Kha'Zix wreaking havoc from the AoE and whatnot. And XDG are like, you bring us to late game. Like, they're already showing if you bring it to late game, XDG's comp is ludicrously good.
Yes, both of those champions extremely strong for team fights. We'll have to see, though, about the early dragon control, because while Feral Flare is extremely strong on this patch, if you're going to have a jungler that is not a Feral Flare jungler, Kha'Zix is the go-to pick.
Yeah.
And we'll see if he can actually make something happen early. He also has extremely good objective control, so they won't be behind on that. But yeah, as soon as the Wriggles does get completed, you have to ward the dragon because it's an option much earlier than it used to be.
That's true. So the top lane already picked, though, for Ackerman. And we are likely to see the isolated top lane as standard, but maybe we see the 2-on-1s, maybe we see something crazy early game. Lucian does come through. Happy to play Twitch blind, and it's going to be Vasily taking Lucian for some strong laning.
Yeah, I'm wondering what's going to happen with the early level ones. So that's always, you know, a weird game because with no vision, it's always about which place are you going to invade. A lot of teams have actually been setting up counter invades too, and sometimes catching entire teams off guard. Most supports, though, do start with the one ward, especially these two supports, because they'll be able to start with the Spell Thieves.
Yeah.
And so there will probably be that one defensive ward, and then just invade the other side of the map. Probably for both these teams.
Yeah, it's been the sort of default sort of level 1 setup. We'll see if they actually manage to cross paths, or like both go for red buff or both go for blue buff, something like that. Last protected to come through. Sheep, has he grabbed the new champion this time around? I know Nami made her first big resurgence, I want to say in Europe, actually. Europe and Korea have been playing her a little bit, but Nif was the first guy I saw playing her a lot, and it is going to be Nami here for Sheep, so a few new faces to XDG. Benny Zarellia also what I've not seen much of.
Yeah, Benny does like the champion, and Aurelia has kind of been the pick to go to when Jax is banned nowadays for people who do like more damage-heavy top laners. She's definitely built more towards the assassin side than towards the tank side. And it definitely has a possibility to snowball up in top lane, but with both of them having teleport, it will probably be the normal early farm.
Yeah. The one advantage you can see is, I guess the weird thing is, both of their teleport stoppers are situational. Aurelia's got to be more hurt than Shyvana, and Shyvana's got to have her ulti available if they want to stop the TPs. So we'll see how that game plays out. The Orianna does come through for Xiaowei Xiao. No surprise there. So this gives LMQ a very well-rounded composition, but it seems like it spikes mid-game.
Yeah, I really do like the composition as a whole, but also the Orianna for in-lane works out just perfectly. So I think LMQ are very happy with how this champion select went. Even though they gave away Soraka, they look like they were prepped to handle it. They seem to have a pretty good handle on this.
Yeah, and I've got to say that XDG has to know that as well, though, knowing he's going to play Orianna with Italy ban. Still went for the Soraka first pick. I feel like both these teams knew these were all coming.
Xiaowei Xiao and Orianna is not a surprise.
Yeah, no, not at all. So as the players load into the game, let's check out your predictions online. According to LOLesports.com, 76% of you say that LMQ are going to come out on top of this one. But you guys can also hop into Twitter and share your real-time thoughts on what's going to win.
Tweet your picks to @LO Esports and use that hashtag XDGWin or LMQWin. We will be checking in with the vote throughout the games today.
And that will be like an individual game vote, by the way. So if you're like, actually, game 2 is going this way, just vote during game 2.
Clear the cache, update them.
Yeah, don't
See
worry.
what the new votes are.
Yeah, keep it going. Don't worry. We got you guys locked down to this one. So, all right, talking about XGG, right? Seems like there's a crazy late game focus here. Aurelia, Twitch, Kha'Zix, like it's a lot of team fighting. There's actually a lot of healing to keep those damage dealers alive with Soraka, Nami, and it's like, okay, you guys do all the damage. That's the XGG comp.
So, yeah, the thing, it's not just a late game team fighting team. Like, this is even an early game team fighting team. So, they have a very strong AoE comp here for XGG. They can take early dragon fights as well. If you get into a corridor with a Twitch and a Soraka, then that will be devastating, no matter how much AoE you guys have. So both of these teams actually have pretty good looks for those early fights.
All right, and it is worth pointing out, guys, we are on 4.5 right now, so Summoner heal stacking is still fully effective. As a result, XGG are running 3 heals.
Yeah.
LMQ running 2 ignites, though, to help try to counteract that. Only 1 heal just on Vasily.
Right. So going into Soraka, they feel like they need more of those debuffs for LMQ. And rightfully so. There's going to be 3 heals, though, that can take off the debuff. So you just have to remember when you are playing any of these healers to use your Summoner heal first before you use your actual character heal. Now, the level 1s, whichever team has Soraka, is always very confident going into any level 1 fights. That's the way we see XGG moving around so much, whereas LMQ are really just waiting in position, and they would just be looking to get the surprise advantage. Nobody wants to walk into a Soraka for a level 1 team fight. Star Call is just devastating.
It might be a bit rough. Well, XGG, though, with their level 1, they got the ward down aggressively. It's going to spot LMQ's red buff. LMQ, though, still winning on the bottom side of the map. Looks like they're going to go for standard lanes right here. Or is it a late invade, though? But everyone's still on the bottom side of the map.
Late invade it is. So as we said, since both of the supports spell thieves plus a ward, defensively ward, go for their invade to secure 1 buff. XGG have not seen anyone, but they can probably assume they're coming from bottom side since at least they saw Xiao come to the mid lane from that bottom side. We'll have to see if Smithy actually makes him move over to the second buff, or if he continues on a normal path.
I would expect him going over to the red buff right there. They've got to realize there's no one top lane right here. So LMQ initiate the lane swap. There's the duo bottom. So that's going to tell the standard level 1 jungle path, Smithy and Benny.
Regular 4-0 going to come out here. The 4-0 pushes on both sides.
What's interesting, though, is they're a little bit different because XGG are doing a 2 buff start, whereas LMQ is doing 1 buff and 2 little camps. I think they'll get to the turret. Looks like XGG will get to the turret faster.
Yeah.
Sorry, LMQ gets turret faster.
This is that second wave push for LMQ, and it is quicker, and you do get a slight advantage going with this. But everybody for XGG has hit level 2 as well, so they're going to be coming in. It's just a little bit later.
We'll see what pans out. Bottom lane turret ordered down well below half HP. Looks like LMQ's push going to start out very successful early on. The great AoE coming out as well for these guys. We'll see the minions start to follow this one. 3 minutes in, first turret goes down. Early recalls for Smithy and Benny. They want to hold the tier 2 turret. Oh, wow. They both, okay.
Yeah,
well, Smithy lost his recall. Benny got
only
out.
he got canceled there. So because they're behind, they're trying to salvage the second turret here. Sending just 1 member down, though, is not going to do anything. It's just going to be Aurelia watching the turret go down. He's wasting a whole bunch of time here. XGG are getting further and further behind. And it's no surprise that LMQ are very good at this early tower pushing game because they played in the Challenger scene where this really originated. The early 4-man push, the quote-unquote buddy system that Complexity Black like to call it. They started it very, very early, so LMQ are already adapted to this style.
Well, and they're going to try to defend. Okay, there's no way. Ackerman has to recall off this one. Or,
yeah, they still come out with a turret lead, though.
Yeah, well, as Thunder Vasily takes some turret damage, Benny is getting harassed, but he should be able to keep Inhibitor turret alive. However, that does still give LMQ a 1 turret lead here, which means 800 gold for these guys. ManCloud versus Xiao. Haven't seen the mid lane much, but looks like this Orianna getting a small minion lead in this one.
Yeah, he's only down an HP pot.
He's up 2 CS, so pretty much equivalent. It's going to be the recall, though, for ManCloud. Doesn't lose too much for it. There's the recall from LMQ's bottom lane. We're going to have Vamp Scepter picked up for the Lucian, the AD carry there. One thing I got to point out, though, is Zuna was actually given all the CS during that push, whereas No Name's having to take some of it himself. So there is a gold lead on XCG's AD carry if that comes into effect at some point.
And they would like to get Twitch up to his Blade of the Ruin King as quickly as possible. That's when you really gain that extra threat of the Stealth Assassin. So if they can actually get him to that point, then they can start looking for those picks that they want with the roaming Twitch.
We'll see how it pays off. Looks like XDG still want to push on this lane, actually. There's no wards watching any of the rotations here, but Ackerman's kind of solo defending this one. Of course, the top lane, Lizard, the red buff there on LMQ side of the map, was not fully cleared. Hasn't been spotted yet, though, so it's going to take a while to respawn. Moore making his way around. Looks like this could be a 3-on-1 down here onto Benny.
Yeah, and that is sort of the general consensus now, is when you do go for that second invade, leaving one small camp, because in all the moving around that you do on this new patch in the early levels of the early tower shoving game, it's a very long time before you go back to check your second camp. So by doing that, they're going to delay that red buff spawn by a very, very long time.
And the funny thing is, like, LMQ could know the respawn timer, or would have known the respawn timer because of the fact that Smithy showed up in top lane. But right now, LMQ doing the Dragon on top of a ward. Benny does have teleport. Sheep is going to make their way over, but Dragon extremely low right now, still taking damage. No, they are going to back off. It didn't go down fast enough.
Yeah, the early Dragons are really, really risky right now. You lose so much health, and just that much of health this early in the game will give a lot of map control back to your opponents. So it actually gives XGG some extra time here to regroup.
Well, speaking of regrouping, though, Benny is trying to kind of catch up here in the top lane. He's level 4 to Ackerman being nearly 6. He's had such a rough time early game. Ackerman had a way better push, and then actually managed to defend a couple of waves there at the very end of it all. So this top lane's not going to go well for Benny.
That's because XGG made that call to try and defend their secondary turret. But since Smithy didn't get to recall and he was stopped by a minion, Benny was the only one to go back, and he spent the whole time just watching a turret go down outside of experience range. Moore gets into range and waits for the flash, but does not hit.
Nice dodge there, but ManCloud keeps himself safe. Does have his ulti and summoner heal available, but it's Ignite for a flash. It's a small lead there for LMQ on this one.
It was a good job more waiting until the flash came out to then throw a skill shot, but ManCloud also with the juke after, so comes out even in the end.
It does. And that mid lane matchup still going to be very even, actually. 52 to 54 right here. These guys holding pretty close. Smithy going to give the blue buff over to ManCloud, and there's not a lot of ward coverage actually in the mid lane. I'm thinking about the fact that this support roamed mid randomly to help force a flash. And there's still really no wards for ManCloud to watch if someone else comes to gank it.
They've got pretty decent coverage on both rated camps.
Okay, I guess the route in would be watched, just not the immediate vicinity of the lane.
Yeah, I think the big story here for the mid game is that extra CS that Zuna got. So now that they have shaken down the lanes into the 2 versus 2 situations, we'll see if this XDG squad can actually punish Vasily, because he's a level down. They don't have extra items, but level 6 Nocturne already.
Yeah, that's the big scary thing
and
here.
No turret to fall back on.
No turret to fall back on. All summoners up for XDG. No ulti for Moore or Vasily. You're seeing how far back Zuna and Cheap are playing. They have to know that Nocturne would be 6, and they're just playing super passive, knowing there's the threat.
And the early level 6 Nocturne ultimate is actually not that long of range. So just by playing this far back, they're actually out of Nocturne's range for his ult and completely safe there.
Speaking of completely safe, both mid laners just killing the minions away. The poor minions aren't safe, but the champions are. XGG actually pulls the gold actually back to within 600, so the laning phase has actually been pretty kind to these guys. The gold's actually flowing all right. It is going to be Wriggles for No Name, no surprise there. Lizard Elder for Smithy, also standard. Neither item completed.
Oh, face check into the Kazakhs.
The ward comes out, Slow's not going to land. Smithy not going to find anything here, just the ward going down, binding hits. Moore gets 15 gold.
Both junglers spending a lot of time down bottom here. I feel like whoever is going to get that kill with each jungler getting their ultimate now, is definitely going to be able to turn into a dragon. They might even fight over the pink ward here. Smithy is caught out.
Ooh, the leap. The bind's going to go on to Sheep right there. Moore still not sick, but there comes the ulti. The
Teleport in.
comes in for Benny. There's no wards for LMQ in a good spot. Moore forced away. No, actually, there comes Ackerman on the backside of the mini wave. There comes Xiao Wei. Xiao flash. It's Smithy that gets caught, though. He's going to flash over the dragon while he'll be safe. The battle continues. Ackerman pushing down into Benny. Great bubble hits Xiao Wei Xiao. The Aurelia still getting chased. Puts a stun down. Hit up by Lucian. But the Twitch damage coming into Xiao Wei Xiao. Not much mana for Expunge, though. Zuna's going to stealth. He's going to try to get back into range. There's the bubbles. The little slow coming is going to land a little bit. Vasily gets a black shield as well. Ackerman now the chase. He's very low. He does not have flash. He's running away. He's going to be just safe enough. The poison likely won't quite kill him. 0 for 0.
So, Xiao Wei Xiao made the first roam, but since they weren't able to kill anyone, ManCloud arriving later didn't matter, and XDG are able to chase them off the bottom turret. They could get a turret plus dragon for that. Nobody goes down, but it's a great win for XDG. They get 2 objectives off of it.
There we go, the first gold lead of the game for XDG. Equalize the turrets plus that dragon, and you stayed this one. So, look at that, all the healing came through, all 3 summoner heals. Every single summoner spell that could have been used in combat, every single ultimate was. And it, resulted in some global objectives, though. XDG, Scar might be right on this one.
Yeah, very interesting move there. Even though Xiao Wei Xiao got the early roam, they weren't able to focus anyone down. XDG did a good job of kiting till Mandatory Cloud got down there. But that is only an early game lead here, and it is not that substantial. Still extremely close game. And the only difference here is that XCG are going to have the exact timer for that next dragon. So they will be able to get in position. If they can capitalize on the extra knowledge that they have of the exact timer, then it could be a bad mid-game story here for LMQ, because they don't want to face check. If you run through this blue side jungle into the dragon area versus the Twitch Soraka, then it could be very, very bad for them.
It's a risk we'll see if they have to take later on. 5 minutes to go till Dragon comes back up. The jungler's spending some time warding for their teams. You just saw No Name put one down. Smithy has a few in his inventory.
All right, Ackerman knows that they're coming straight for him right now. 4-man squad up top here for XDG. See how LMQ can react. They have perfect knowledge.
Yeah, Ackerman gets as much of the wave as he can, then runs away, knowing, hey, I've got to pull my team over. The recall from Vasily comes through. Actually ulted to clear a wave before backing. You got more rotating up as well, and Xiao Wei Xiao waiting in the wings. Looks like no push for XDG. They realize they've been seen, but they're in a bit of control over the red buff. Soraka, not far away, binding on a sheep. There comes the jump on in for Ackerman. Tidal Wave lands onto 4, though, and here comes Spray and Pray. LMQ can't easily dive back in. They've been forced backwards, but a shockwave onto 3. Here comes the push. The wish might not be enough. Zuna goes down for first blood. Smithy, he's going to fall as well. No counterattack's really going to land there. Now ManCloud getting chased by the red buff Ackerman. Hasted up by Command Dissonance, still going down. ManCloud with the heals, but it's not going to be enough. There's a Dark Binding. 3 kills LMQ.
All right, so this time around, ManCloud was also not there when the fight immediately broke out, and it did cost them. No Name gets the dive into the back on Zuna. He did get off a great spray and pray, but the reinitiate here from LMQ after the amazing shockwave. All right, so everybody gets knocked up by the tidal wave, and the spray and pray hits multiple people, but Xiao Wei Xiao, oh god, the 3-man shockwave into the Vasily. Huge team fight for them, and now they're going to take down Benny and Mid!
Oh no, Benny's after a second longer, but it wasn't enough. Now Ackerman getting chased down, the W lands. There's the kill picked up. Red buff goes back to Smithy, and the mid lane turret does survive, so 1 for 1 actually.
Also, after that last push, LMQ got a lot of money back in minions because both lanes were pushing towards them, so it caught them up a whole bunch in the gold lead here.
Yeah,
and they actually got even further ahead now.
Wow. So, it's okay to go Dragons. You take the right fight afterwards, and you get massive shockwaves. Xiao Wei, Xiao's Orianna. Scary for a reason.
And I have to say, that is the importance of warding your own jungle when you did just lose a team fight. LMQ had a whole bunch of vision in their red side jungle, and even though XCG made this great move and they put down deep wards, LMQ were in the position to respond. So whenever you do lose a team fight like that, you gotta ward your own territory.
Uh-oh, flash ulti from Moore. This could be a good amount of damage. Bubble's not going to land. ManCloud stunned up. The whole team comes down. And down goes Soraka, 5-1 LMQ.
We talked about Moore being the playmaker for his team here, starting off another one, and ManCloud not having the best of games. So far, the mid lane matchup definitely going to Xiao.
You can see now 132 minions on him. He's actually getting the CS lead as well. Mid lane tier 2 now under fire. 4 members of XCG are around, but I don't think they're going to get much. Ooh, nice steal there. Xiao gets the big Wraith. Minions getting cleared away. Binding won't land, but this turret's down to half.
Yeah, he also got a big chunk out of Smithy's life right there, deterring any sort of aggression that XCG were even thinking about.
So just the quick and the rapid wave clear from Xiao, easily to kill minions.
I also like how Ackerman is going straight into his tank build, just going early tank here. He wants to get a bunch of armor and then stand in front of Zuna and just slowly burn him down. If they can get Zuna walking backwards, as we saw before when No Name jumps in with him, that's all they need is those two onto Zuna. If they're able to keep him down, even with ManCloud's heals, then the rest of LMQ will have a pretty easy time cleaning up. Definitely going to have to watch those shockwaves. Zuna cannot afford to get hit by another shockwave.
Yeah, you saw what the last one did to the team. That was after a great tidal wave too. I thought XCG was going to win that last fight.
It was tidal wave plus spray and pray combo in a corridor.
Yeah.
That's exactly the scenario that we were setting up, which is great for this XCG team. But then Zuna had to start backtracking pretty quick there. And time spent not attacking is going to cost them the team fight.
Yeah, follow through from, and I like this by the way, it's going to be Wriggle's Lantern into, he's fine, into Ruin King Nocturne.
Yeah, that's going to be the Ruin King completed there for Zuna though. That was the item threshold that we were looking for. Now with all these turrets down, there's so much area for him to sort of stealth around and ambush people. We'll see if he can actually make any plays. After losing that big team fight though, it's going to be dangerous for them.
Yeah, it's really important to see how good the scattering of wards is, because at this point he's only got like 6 seconds of stealth on Twitch right here. So it's going to take him some time. Like, he can't really bypass many wards.
Yeah, basically what you have to do is find somebody who's in a lane. You just go straight up your lane, because generally you'll know that there are no wards in your lane.
Oh, see if you can sneak up on Vasily Moore or anyone else. Smithy gonna walk backwards, ward comes out.
So there's that second dragon that we were looking for, and XCG are coming into position.
It's going down
Teleports
fast.
are ready.
Smithy does not steal. It's going to go actually over to Xiao with the ball.
Oh, I don't think Smithy got into range for his Q.
Yeah, he jumped Smite W.
Yeah.
Smite was early.
Yeah, a little bit early there. The unevolved jump is such a short hop. It's kind of depressing. Little baby jump.
It's a skip. Not so much of a leap.
So neither teleport was used though, because the dragon went down so fast. It looks like Benny will be cut off here. All of LMQ are going to get there first. Xiao goes to defend mid while they make this call.
Wow, LMQ don't even try for it. They're going to realize that mid lane is more important than taking down a champion. The rotations come back out from Vasily and co, but is it going to be enough for XTG? 3 men strong in the mid lane, but they're about to be flanked. Zuna's got to make his way back from this one.
Teleport in, they will be flanked.
This is great. Nice bubble that lands into Ackerman. Some good damage goes through onto the Shyvana, but will it be enough? There's a jump back onto ManCloud. Are they going to go for a shock in this one? The Binding's going to get dodged. ManCloud still low on health. Tidal Wave comes out, Flash gets the play from the ulti. Smithy trying to get away from this one, does get stunned up though. He's going to survive for now, but Benny falls 1 for 1 though. Big 3-man shock is going to be a lot for that one. ManCloud falls as well. Now Zuna chased down. Only Sheep alive. He falls. Everyone goes down. It's a 5 for 2 to LMQ.
And LMQ now have a definitive lead. They can control anything they want on the map. They can go for Baron right now or shove up mid and get the turret. Everybody's so low and it's very early in the game, so Baron not the call here. They're going to grab the turret. Now, Ackerman with the deep teleport, even though he gets bubbled, it wasn't detrimental to their team comp. Let's see. 2 people dive towards ManCloud. I thought this was going to be bad for LMQ because they have no dives left for Zuna. However, again, Xiao comes up with an amazing shockwave. Zuna appears, and then he repositions the ball. Another 3-man shockwave into Vasily ult, and Ackerman still has the flash to get onto the back line there. So even with the Nocturne and the Shyvana ults being used early to engage on ManCloud, they still have the shockwave to rely on to get to Zuna.
What I liked was that Xiao actually flash Q'd. It was like a short range Q as well.
Yeah.
Just to make it get there quicker to lower the reaction time of XTG, to make sure they couldn't dodge the shockwave.
Yeah, he has plenty of games on Orianna. He knows all the little tricks.
Pretty sweet. All right, so 6,000 gold lead right here. 6.5 really. LMQ gonna grab their own red buff one more time. No name, pretty massive. Feral Flare 20 stacks right there. This is 4.5, so it's a 25 stack combine. A little bit slow, but that's his standard sort of play style. No name is very much about playing for the team. He'll farm when he has time.
And people can fall into the trap of really focusing on farming their Feral Flare and be like, oh no, I'm behind. And they forget about what's actually going on in the game and reacting to the lanes as they play out. So it's not all, you don't always want to judge them by what time they get their Feral Flare. True. It's about the impact that they're having on the game. And he has been getting to Zuna and getting to ManCloud.
Yep. He's 203, he's got a Ruin King, he's got Ninja Tabby. He's getting the backlines pretty nicely in this one. Interestingly enough, actually, Ruin King, or maybe just the Cutlass for the slow, is picked up here by Ackerman. So, though he started out very tanky with the Sunfire, and is actually adding a Ruby Crystal now for probably a Spectre's Cowl, he's like, you know, I do want the CC, though, so I can make sure I can chase people.
All right, so XCG definitely on the defensive now. They are the ones who need to start warding up their jungle to protect their territory. If they can catch somebody out, they still have plenty of power if they can catch someone out of position. And that's how they can get back in this game, if they snag people off who are far away from the rest of the team. Here it comes. This is the tank, though. Dangerous.
All right, slow's coming through. It's going to be some damage on Ackerman. The white gets taken. Ackerman walks backwards. Benny walks into 2, though. Here comes the Fear Tether. Has to flash. He's going to jump to a minion to keep himself safe. But there's a Nocturne ulti. Big damage comes through. Spell Shield is on Benny. He's going to go down in the 2-for-1. Smithy and Sheep show up to defend, but there's rest of LMQ.
Weird call there for Benny to chase, but Zuna to actually back off. I don't know. I think XCG miscommunicating right there. Different plans for both of them.
They definitely had no vision, but yeah, chasing in general, kind of weird. Top lane turret now down below half HP, and Moore takes a shield. Should have back off for now, but it's the sight of the siege. 8 seconds till Benny respawns. No summoners or ulti on him. And here's the new minion wave. This turret likely to fall. LMQ continuing their lead now at 6 turrets.
All right, that's the last of the outer turrets. XCG have definitely been boxed in pretty quick here. LMQ coming out very strong in the first game. And Scar made a pretty bold prediction, too. He's like, if whoever wins the first game is going to win the entire series.
But then he said that, you know, XCG would win 3-1, so no matter what right now, if the game goes this way some more, he's conflicting himself. Make up your mind, Scara. He's going to make his way back now. Xiao gonna grab his blue buff here. That was weird Q. Whatever. Doesn't need it. Takes it with auto attacks there. 11-3 in kills. Honestly, once we got to the point where the teams actually got to group up for team fights, LMQ won every single one.
Yeah, and with XCG having the assassin-oriented top laner, it's gonna be hard for them to come back without catching LMQ in a bad position. As we said, they need to have the numbers advantage. They don't have the extra health to soak up any damage. They need to use all of their offensive prowess at the same time and coordinate it for a first strike.
And it seems like they're not able to grind the fight out either. Like, even though they have 2 healing champions and 3 summoner heals, it's not enough. Like, it seems like their health bars still get ground down really rapidly by No Name, Ackerman, and co.
I mean, the Ignite still halves your heal when you use it, even though the heal takes it off. So really that initial burst is they still have the debuff that they're looking for, and it has been working for LMQ. Now they're trying to zone the classic Baron and bottom lane tug of war with XDG here.
Smithy gets focused away. Burns 75 gold for a ward that gets immediately dropped there. Pink ward control is there for LMQ, and they're just playing the control Baron game right now.
And look how bold LMQ are with this. They don't even have any wards in the red side jungle, yet Ackerman is all the way up at the inhibitor turret. So the rest of the team, it's on them to keep vision of the rest of XDG. And even if they have vision of most of them, there still could be a Twitch down bottom. Ackerman is just that confident that he can take Benny, and he's not even scared if the Twitch does come down. All right, they will get Baron for this if XCG make this move down to Dragon.
So XCG lost control enough. They're like, screw it, we'll just go for Dragon on this one. No one's even going to try to look at Baron here, so LMQ completely secure that objective. Smite comes out in a 25 minutes, 55-second Baron comes through. It will be the Dragon trade, but that doesn't mean too very much.
And it's still risky. So Smithy's going to have to jump over, but Ackerman can find him. They've got vision. They trade objectives, but they're also going to lose Smithy. And he canceled Zuna's ambush.
He can flash.
Oh my god.
All right, now can Xiao chase him down? Flash by Ackerman. Zuna does not have the stealth up just yet, and there's the burst coming in. Nowhere for him to go. That was a great move by Ackerman. He knew he was recalling there.
That was beautiful. Completely outplayed right there. And they'd rather kill Zuna than kill Smithy, because now there's very low chance for XCG trying to defend. One of Twitch's best positions is inside the base at a turret where he's trying to defend and shoot people through this small corridor into the lane. But now, without that threat, LMQ just run on the turret.
Well, two-man bubble, but no way to carry here. Push still coming out. Now is the ulti onto Mancloud. He's going to flash away from that one. Burns the heal on himself, plus an ignite goes through. But now bottom inhibitor under fire. Tidal Wave comes across, going to land onto 3, and there comes the engage. No name push backwards. Here comes Twitch. The battle is on. Shockwave lands onto 2. Zuna gets caught while invisible, but bubble into Xiao. Is it going to be enough? Forcing the flash away. 5-man LNQ running away. Smithy still around. Nice culling. Going to drop the team back as well, and no engage for XCG.
Baron regeneration really helping out LMQ here. They want to finish this inhibitor first. Hard engage from XCG. Oh, they do not pull the trigger.
Find that a Mancloud going to heal himself. Nothing else picked up. LMQ going to get out. XCG going to have to hold in their base and get some minions.
Now, one inhibitor you can come back from, not that big a deal, but really the gold deficit is what's hurting XCG right now. They just don't have the power to fight a full-on 5v5. And they haven't been extending and taking the risks to catch anybody from LMQ off guard. They've been playing the numbers here, going with the safe exchanges. They figured the safe exchange would be like, okay, we're not going to face check Baron because somebody will die, even if we have the possibility of getting a steal. We'll rather just trade you Dragon for Baron. And yet they still lost somebody for it, getting caught out in the Dragon Pit.
Yeah, that was just great play by LMQ to be able to collapse on that and to realize what was happening. They had the Trinket Ward down already.
Yeah, I mean, Ackerman has just been playing with so much confidence, pushing down there in the bottom without any extra vision, and then pulling back at the right time to check for Dragon. They figured out what XCG were doing very quickly.
So good stuff by these guys. And of course, Ackerman's the guy who kind of left in the field saying, okay, look, you get all the waves into good shape. The rest of us will clear the jungle, we'll buy the items. Then we'll be ready to go now that all the waves are in the place we want them to. Looks like mid lane or top lane might be the target. Of course, bottom lane already cleared out. It's going to be XCG forced to hold that for a while. There's the engage. Looks for the mid lane. Mac going to get jumped on by 2 from both sides. Black Shield comes out just to be sure. And No Name gets the kill credit now 13-3, 27 minutes in.
Okay, well, that's the signal LMQ want. They're looking to end the game now, straight in the front door.
And ball on Ackerman, mid lane. Inhibitor turret goes down. Pink ward there just to make sure there's no Twitches working around this one. And the inhib falls as well. So 2 inhibs dead. Baron still on for about 50 seconds. And LMQ cleared 1 more minion wave.
All right, Mancloud will be back up for the defense of the double turrets, though. LMQ aren't wasting any time. They're actually just face-taking.
They're trying anyway. 4v5, and XCG still aren't fighting back. Turret number 1 goes down. Bubble onto 2. No Name disengages.
Minions are here, but so is Mancloud.
All right, here we go. This is the climactic 5v5 for XCG. LMQ say, you know what?
Zuna's getting deep here. He actually got into pink ward range there. Getting zoned out by the ball.
Sheep forced a flash away. That binding would have hit. Now Mancloud once again about to be locked up. Takes a bunch of pain. Beautiful shockwave. Xiao picks up 2. Smithy forced back. Zuna going to be falling down rather quickly. That's going to be game 1. 28 minutes. And LMQ are 1/3 of the way into the LCS.
Yeah, congratulations to LMQ. First game down. And I have to say that guy right there, Xiao with the shockwaves. 2 crucial team fights. He got them on not only to Zuna. Like, it would have been a big win if he just got Zuna. But he got 3 people both times.
Yeah.
And Vasily was always there to add extra damage on, whether it was with his ulti or just with the W there. So they coordinated very well.
Yeah.
And it's so beautiful to watch a team giving away one of the OPs right now, Soraka, and having the perfect plan to deal with it. Xiao loves Orianna. Orianna's great against Soraka, so they had a great plan there. I guess XCG kind of just walked into it.
They really did, and I'm surprised because we just saw that video about, we prepared for them. We've been able to watch Challenger, right? We know the champions. The guys on desk talking about as Nidalee as Orianna, and it was like, yes, we're going to let you play the champion.
Well, they banned out the Nidalee.
Okay, they banned out one of the 3, right? But it's like they're so worried about. And okay, yeah, sure, Ackerman's Renekton's really good. Like, sure, I know the other bans make sense. Evelyn's a good ban against No Name, sure, but he's their best player, pretty much everyone's sort of measure. And it's like, we'll just give you your second best champion, no worries. And it's a counter pick to our mid lane. That seems very weird to me.
He also was able to make the first roaming movements from mid several times around. It was always Xiao arriving, then ManCloud comes. So that also, those few seconds at the fight before it's a sort of a 4-on-5, make a lot of a difference because you get so much more damage output.
Sure. I mean, sure, it's hard for Clouds to get into high-pressure situations, but still, it's important for Xiao, right? He actually made the moves there, and we talked about this a little bit, or at least I did in the pregame, because Xiao often takes Wolves and Wraiths from his team. He will tax his own jungle to get that farm, keep it going, but he was still the one to move down, right, to make the rotations. No Name still got some farm going in, had decent CS overall, and it seems like that team worked well. Their team fights are on point. They won fights by playing it right. Like
XCG also won a fight.
They did.
Pretty early on there. And then it was that one invade towards the red side where LMQ already had vision wards up that really turned it around.
Yeah. All right, guys, remember to share what you thought the standout moment was by tweeting at LCS Esports and using the hashtag LCSBigPlays. But we're going to send it now over to Jat, Skara, and I Will Dominate, who are standing by to walk us through XGG's first win of the series.
All right, thank you very much, guys. And a pretty dominant victory right there by LMQ. Skara, you did pick a 3-1 for XGG in the series. Do you want to change your pick? I'm giving you a chance.
I just think that, like I said before, the team that would win the first game, I think, would just take the series. And LMQ is looking really dominating right now. I feel like XGG will not get their confidence back after that game. Like, I'm expecting probably something close to a sweep.
Well, specifically, what about that game makes you think that they're not going to be coming back?
I just think the way that the game was played out, like if you saw how mid lane and how mid lane rotated after, like how Cloud rotated that game, like especially the biggest thing to watch was just the red buff fight. Cloud didn't have to rotate there. Like people just assumed he should have been at the red buff, but what should have happened was that his team already secured the objective, or like didn't secure it. They should have just backed off, and they weren't conscious of the Ori ball, and they just like lost the game right there. So I feel like the team's not on the same wavelength. Like he collapses late, and a lot of that's onto him, but a lot of that's also like his team's not making like the correct judgment, or like just in general, I feel like they're not in the same wavelength, and that's really, really bad going to a series like this.
Dominate, is this what you expected coming into game one?
Yeah, I expected something similar to this. The early game went fine for XDG. I think that with a team that doesn't necessarily have the best rotations, that's probably the best you're going to come out of the early game. So going into mid game, or going into like the 12-13 minute part of the map, I think that they like had control. They would have been able to take objectives, but they messed up really hard on the red fight. They weren't cognizant of the Ori ball, and it really hurt them there.
Yeah, I mean, we saw they actually were able to win a fight earlier on in the game because Soraka could come down and kind of support. But we have the clip of the 12-minute fight in the red buff, and I kind of want both you guys to just walk us through why the rotation was bad and why this was such a bad fight for XG to take. If we can pull that clip up as soon as possible. Here we go.
Okay. So already Soraka's pushing in mid. They see Ori collapsing. So at this moment, they shouldn't even be forcing red. They should just be backing. Like right here, they're lucky that LMQ played this badly and that they kind of swooped into Zuna. They just didn't. There's no reason to even run back in. They already got the mid lane turret here, and then Soraka late collapses, and then they just lose. Like this is the game. Because they don't have any kind of initiation, so as soon as they fall behind on this team comp, they just lose, straight up.
Yeah, I think that there was some miscommunication, because if you see a team run in like that, it seems like somebody might have made the call that the Ori ult had been used or it wasn't up, because you'd never see a team face check in a situation like that, knowing that Orianna has ball and knowing that it's a 4v5. So I think that there must have been miscommunication there.
Yeah, a lot of miscommunication from XGG, but as well, you were talking about the team compositions a lot during the game and how when XGG fell behind, they were never able to make plays to come back because of their team comp. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I think the main thing that they lacked in XGG's team comp was initiation. Once they fall behind, they don't really have a way of forcing fights. And you combo that in with the fact that you're against an Orianna and a Morgana, things that can kite back very effectively, they can never really get kills. There's no way for them to actually start a team fight and win it decisively.
Yeah, anything to add to that, Scar?
No, I completely agree with that. I think the next game, if they don't draft correctly, I feel like they need to be banning out Xiao. Like, there's no reason to even ban other players. Just ban out their mid laner and go from there. I think it's really easy to control the pace of the game. Or not easy, but easier you control the pace of the game if you double or triple ban mid lane.
Yeah, well, Xiao went 4-0-11 in that game. All but one of the kills he was participating in was actually Ackerman had 100% team kill participation. But to kind of speak to the mid laner and what Dominate said about not having initiation, the game was almost over. The 18-minute fight is when we knew 100% they weren't coming back. If we could actually pull that clip up on the screen here. Dominate, talk to us about what we were saying here in this moment.
Okay, so this, just going into it, you can tell that LMQ is extremely confident with their fighting potential. They TP Ackerman right into the fight, and they're forcing right on top of the Soraka. Soraka is not normally the target that you want to just heavy focus in a fight, but they know that they're ahead, and they know that if they force any type of fight here, they're going to win it. So they initiate pretty hard, they save the Oriole, get a really good shockwave, and then they just clean up everything from there.
Yeah, he had so many good shockwaves that game, Xiao. Scar, you mentioned actually that he likes to play flashy. He doesn't just want to win, but he likes to play flashy. You want to talk about if XGG could exploit that somehow?
I feel like Xiao Zhao's a very prideful person. Like you saw that in his series against C9T where he picked like the Syndra into a Syndra matchup which he just won. I feel like just to make a statement. I think he's the kind of person that won't play Soraka. I think for sure he's the kind of person that really wants to make a statement when he plays mid. He wants to be like, I carried this game. I can crush every other mid laner. That's what he says to himself, and that's his level of confidence. So I would triple ban mid lane this game, and I would leave Soraka up and just pick it. Because if you ban out Nidalee, Ori, and Syndra, he's forced to take a matchup that's not very friendly for him against Soraka. I don't think they would expect that kind of strategy.
All right, Scar wants to triple ban, Dominate. If you were XGG, how would you try and prepare and come back in game 2?
I'd say at least double ban. I don't want to see, if I'm XGG right now, I do not want to see another Orianna. I do not want to see a Nidalee from Xiao. Maybe you can be adventurous, ban the third ban if there's something else you know, but I think at least double ban on Xiao coming into this next game. Even
with the rest of XGG kind of playing fairly poorly in that game, you still focus the mid lane entirely. Do they have any other options?
I think there's no the other option is from what I understand, Vasily has a very poor champion pool, and that if you triple ban his champion pool, he's very underwhelming. So maybe they'd like to do that and snowball bot lane, because for the most part, ManCloud can hold his own middle. Like I think laning phase, ManCloud does fine, 1v1 like without any jungle pressure, which is why they banned Eve, because Eve is like a really notorious lane fiddler, and so. I think generally they could do it two ways. They could either triple ban mid or triple ban bot. I just think triple banning bot will not win them the game. I think it has to be like at least a double ban mid. I agree. Syndra, I only want ban because it has a really good matchup against Soraka.
All right, thank you very much, guys. But we are just warming up here. When we return, we'll get Game 2 between LMQ and XGG with a spot in the North American LCS hanging in the balance. But as we go to break, let's check out some of Xiao's dominating shockwaves.
Welcome back to the 2014 Summer Promotion. Vasily gets
specifically when he played. He made a lot of positioning errors, kind of like the old double lift.
2-for-1 fight. Yazaki, Vasily trading blows right there. Down goes the mid laner of C19. The stun comes up. Yazaki will trade one back though. 3-2 on the fight. Ackerman can't find much else.
我发挥很不稳定，就是有时候很厉害，有时候特别差。
Vasily is probably a really good player due to his dance moves that you may have seen on Twitch.
He's a dancing god.
有之前在国内也有直播，但是看的人没有这么多，只有2000、3000左右。然后来到这边能有这么高人气，我想很感谢大家。
Thank you. Goodbye.
LMQ gonna close out and take the Challenger Series Championship. What a finish!
来这边就是为了进 LCS， 可以跟更多的 LCS 的队伍切磋。
训练了这么久，已经有充分的实力来进入 LCS 这个赛场中。我觉得我们自己在 LCS 赛场上也能发挥得很好。
我从来没觉过北美弱，自从我来到这边和这些队练习，还有比赛，我觉得他们真的不弱。我很期待和 WF 还有 QT5 切磋在 LCS 赛场。
Well, Vasily, if you make it in the LCS, got a dance battle going on.
I was going to say, talking about dance moves, he's definitely got you beat already.
No, that's definitely false. I got the Macarena, like we're good to go. All right, so let's talk about LMQ then in the last series, or the last game rather, because they're 2 games away now from making it into the LCS, and they've honestly played well as a team. It's been the same kind of story overall. They seem to make very little mistakes. They'll capitalize some kind of mistake, and they'll just like win a team fight, win a team fight, win a team fight, close the game.
I think that the biggest difference between the 2 teams is the communication. LMQ seem to have very, very crisp communication. You can see it in their engages. You can see it in their target selection. Meanwhile, XDG, pretty disconnected, actually. I mean, people are doing different plans at the same time. There's as we said, they're chasing into areas where they think that there's no Orianna ultimate. I don't know. Yeah. Also, ward coverage. I mean, man, they've had a pretty big discrepancy there as well. Smithy does not look happy.
No. He's focusing in though. He's channeling his inner strength here. And honestly, like to me, like that's what XGG needs is Smithy to get themselves back in the game. Because I don't think almost any teams win after an early deficit to LMQ. I think every team that's gotten behind early, like 99% of the time, the game gets closed out. And to get an early lead, I feel like that has to be Smithy finding some ganks and opening that game up for his team. I feel like that's where it has to come from XDG.
Yeah, it's been a long time since he's been touted as a top jungler in North America. Even after returning to the jungle spot, everyone thought it would just snap right back to normal, but it hasn't really panned out that way. And he does need to be the one making early aggressive moves. Nobody else is really going to be the one initiating any sort of combat here. It's a lot up to the jungler for the early game to try and make something happen.
Yeah. And we got to see like what happens. Of course, last game it was 2-on-1 lanes or 4v0 kind of, so I know there wasn't a lot of moves to gank. But then you had the extended lanes. Like we talked about it actually in the bottom lane. You saw Zuna and Sheep having to hide from minion wave for a while because like, no name might be around. We have to respect the fact there might be a jungler here. I didn't see that kind of presence from Smithy, where people were backing off of waves or having to leave their lane because there might be a Kha'Zix in the wings.
All right, so let's see if they change anything up in the picks bans here. Already one Xiao ban, so probably see another Xiao ban? No, they're not actually going to change it up first.
Wow, and interestingly, so both teams have banned banned Jax on the red team here. So it's a kind of a shared ban here, but it's one that's getting respected there. The Morgana actually banned by LMQ. They care about that champion a lot in terms of Sheep in this one, but I want to see what happens with Orianna here. LMQ can first pick their mid laner if they know it's a contested pick there. That's an important champion in this one. XDG.
I also want to say about Orianna ult's last game, it really was the warding that helped out so much. There was a pink ward in that bush. Like Kha'Zix and Twitch were both invisible when they were walking forward. So they thought they were safe, but the pink ward that they had already placed in the bush on their own side jungle, because they knew they had just lost a team fight and they were going to be on the defensive, turned it around for LMQ.
And it worked exceptionally well for them. So honestly, LMQ definitely bringing in more to their games. I feel like they're doing better things. They're making the right choices there. And this time, Champion Select taking their time with this one. No really new mid lane bans by XTG. They removed the Soraka, but they're leaving Orianna available. Once again, Nocturne, the priority jungle pick for LMQ. And it's just the Elise ban removing the champions from Smithy.
And they didn't even focus on Pharaoh Flare last time. He had a very late conversion of that Wriggles Lantern into Pharaoh Flare because of they were making so many moves elsewhere on the map. You know, he does not tunnel on farming. We'll have to see if it's a slower game, then you always have that to rely upon though. If you are Nocturne, you can hard farm your jungle and still have a threatening presence because the other team never knows where you are and they have to respect the fact that you can join a fight from, you know, half a screen away.
So now we'll see what they can do with this one then. LMQ obviously putting their respect into their opponents, realizing they've won game one. XEG, what are their new adaptations? They've got to pull it back here in the next 4.
So Kha'Zix is up again. I'm not going to go with that this time though. Smithy going to a more comfortable jungler and an even more early game oriented jungler here. His Lee Sin is one of the classic champions that he was known for when he was on the top of the North American jungle scene.
And the Thresh, I think, is really good for Sheep as well. He's one of those big Thresh mains. I feel like all the new supports that kind of joined the league mid-season are like Thresh mains. They're good at the other champions, but like that's their best. And so I think Sheep having more playmaking potential can help. I think if like Sheep Zuna winning lane is a big deal. We know we talk about Vasily occasionally playing too aggressively, and he can get caught out by a hook and give some kills away. Some of the games that C9T won against LMQ were Vasily getting caught and kind of throwing away kills for a while.
Yeah, I feel like if you are a pro support, Thresh has to be at least one of your top supports, if not your main support to go to. He's just so strong. But we do have a Lulu pick as well. Talking about support picks, it could be the mid lane as well. So I like that early flex here from LMQ. They can keep ManCloud guessing. XCG will have the guaranteed counter pick though if they want it, so they can still wait and see what the entire lineup is. Or you can take a safe pick away.
Yeah. I think this is the right choice by XDG though, to grab the Orianna, make sure Xiao doesn't get it. Yes, you can use Wild Growth in similar ways to Shockwave, but it's just not the same. There's way less damage for one. And the Orianna through on ManCloud I think is a great choice.
They also are able to get Lucian away here, so I think it's a pretty good start for XDG this time around, looking at pick bans, especially since they are on red side.
Now it's LMQ grabbing Twitch for themselves though, and they might just switch the Lulu down into the bottom lane, hovering on Twisted Fate right now, giving LMQ even more playmaking, and it is going to be mid TF here, so support Lulu is the grab, and double globals plus Twitch stealth.
Now, I like Twitch plus Lulu because coming out of ambush with all that attack speed, he gets even more pick shots, and it adds a lot of extra damage there. Plus, they have the 2 globals that can support this bottom lane. So this time around, with LMQ running the Twitch, they've got so many weapons that they can use to feed that Twitch as early as possible. Literally every other champion on their team can join the party bot lane. They've got a teleport top, a jungle Nocturne, and a mid TF. Every single person on LMQ can do something to help Twitch get fed.
And what I really like about Twitch Lulu as well is that Help Pix is invisible when he's invisible. So you can Glitter Lance from nowhere. You can't dodge that spell. You get guaranteed ambushes.
Get another extra slow, so they can slow you forever if they catch anyone out of position.
Yeah. It gives you really interesting lane movements as well, because anytime Twitch turns invisible, you're like, he could be on top of us with ambush and picks. You gotta be worried about that one. Top lane Mundo gets brought up here for XDG, so a different look there for Benny. Gonna be the safe reserve top laner. He'll join team fights a bit later on.
So that signals out that they probably will not be making that early action from Smithy focused to wherever Benny is. Mundo probably going to just be farming, trying to use his teleport to get to that mid game where he spikes up. Meanwhile, Smithy is really going to have to get one of these other lanes going. Thresh is always a great support to gank for, even in this heal meta where they're running usually double heals down bottom.
Yeah.
You can still make a lot of things happen with Lee Sin and Thresh. There's this ridiculous playmaking opportunity there.
Yeah, you can safeguard to a lantern, kill a bunch of things as well. There's absolutely, I agree. There's a lot of room for moves here. So as the teams take to the Rift, remember to head over to Twitter and let us know who you think's going to win. Tweet at LOL Esports, use the hashtag LMQWin or XDGWin to cheer on your favorite team in this one. And I want to see this comp play out for LMQ because I like the triple global in a way. The fact they can just show up anywhere, whether it's a Twitch's lane or just mid lane or wherever. I want to know how that plays out because we talk about whenever you're running globals on a team, like a Shen, a Teleport, a Twisted Fate, you say, yeah, gank the global. Well, which one?
Yeah,
because someone's going to show up anyway.
Go to the source of the global. Oh God, they're everywhere.
Yeah, gank all the lanes at the same time.
What really I'm looking forward to seeing, though, is the mid-game from LMQ, because we said they had great communication last game. If they're running with 3 globals in a mid-game where all of these turrets go down very quickly, then there's opportunity for them to really snowball in the mid-game and get ahead there.
And you got to wonder how well can XDG time the cooldowns, because they're all going to be very apparent. When Nocturne has his darkness, you just say, okay, guys, 3 minutes from now, it's back up. Let everyone know this one. And we'll see how the coordination stacks up. XDG on the red side. How well can they make this one happen? Ruby Crystal start for Benny. He's going full tank status, but that's no surprise.
Moore still opting to go Ignite here, not on the support train, everyone doing double heal. He likes that kill potential, and they are going to keep it down there. Ooh, this is a much closer level 1, though. Both teams grouping up to fight over the top side of the jungle.
All right, they're going to get spotted out by the ball. LMQ knows
see the ball, though. They saw it disappear, so both teams are aware.
It's going to dump. Thresh is right behind them, though. And the gold card timed out, but looks like this is not going to be a push in for XDG.
They got their deep ward down. Need to back out now.
There's no way for XDG to sweep it. They just know the fact that a ward almost definitely went down. Okay, so a bit of information gained. Sheep's ward, unfortunately not very useful for his team anymore. That was watching the blue buff invade. It didn't happen.
And you can see LMQ rushing down to the other side of the map. They saw XDG above them, so they're not scared about face checking around their own red right now.
Ooh, are they going to late invade the blue buff, though?
There's a preemptive ward from XDG, so if they do, it will still be seen.
Minions have spawned.
And it also looks like XDG once again are opting into the lane swap. So these guys wanting the 2v1 at every single game.
So a lot of that does have to do with trying to secure the early buff for their jungler and make sure that they have a good early start. Basically, this is the lowest risk that you can go with as a team. Defensively warding one side, invading the other.
Yeah, a couple of brief faces come out. Looks like XDG feels pretty safe with this one. And they just watched LMQ walk through their pre-ward near the blue buff. So here we go, the buddy system. Blue buff going to be grabbed up on both sides for this one. And we're likely to see both teams go for the wolves and the white.
All right, I like leaving the little lizard down there behind at the blue buff, because as I said before, it's so long before the jungler will check his other buff that you can delay your opponent's blue buff by another 5-7 minutes even if XDG are slow to go over and check that one. So keeping that away from Orianna, from ManCloud, that's a little investment that they're making towards later in the game. And they still, both of these teams actually this time around, going with the 1 buff, 2 small camps, everybody level 2, second wave shove. Shouldn't be as poor of a start as last time for XDG.
All right, here we go. LMQ, 4 men strong. The Nocturne Q comes out, Duskbringer. Give him a bit more damage. It's going to be pretty safe for these guys. Wave Clear comes out as well. This fight's happening. It's going to be a 3-minute turret. Roughly at the same time, actually. LMQ, I think they're, 1 second slower than before. XDG, though, actually getting their turret down. They're only 7 seconds behind in this trade, 8 seconds behind. You're going to keep them move forward.
Yeah, much better than last time. We have to see, though, with no jungle support, the mid laners are left to their own devices. And ManCloud getting the early shove here on TF.
Yeah, and a pretty moderate to decent minion lead as well, dodging the cards away. And it's going to be a bit of a lane lead there, but Tier 2 Turo under fire. LMQ getting the better of this one already, down below a quarter. This will be falling rather quickly. The recall is actually started by XDG to defend the inhibitor. But this will be an equal turret trade, so this game's starting out much better for XDG than it did last time.
Yeah, and the recall not stopped this time for Smithy, so they get 2 people back and they will be able to defend it. LMQ just shoving that wave all the way into the turret to make sure that it does not get frozen too deep there. Right now they're making a move for Dragon. The early Dragons have cost all the teams that have gone for it, but this time around it would only be 2 members of XCG that would collapse, the Lee Sin and Mundo. And they're not making the move early. Dragon aggro, they're trying to juggle it. They're not avoiding that much damage though. They're still taking pretty much full damage from Dragon.
Okay, let's see if LMQ pays any cost for this though. Instead of recalling, getting their items back, getting to lane in time, or getting any farm, they go for Dragon. So that's going to be 625 gold, I believe, is the base Dragon value. Something around that, 650. And so now I want to see what they can pay after this one. Xiao's already recalled, got back to lane.
So basically the biggest difference there is that Mundo was farming minions earlier than Shyvana was. So since the LMQ wave was pushing against them for this top lane, Shyvana, will be a level or so behind Mundo. But the rest of the team gains all that global gold from Dragon, plus the all-important timer for the right spawn of the second Dragon.
Yeah, very important for these guys, because that one, around, 1040 in the game is going to be rather important for that one. It'll be worth a bit more gold, more experience, all that kind of fun stuff. Xiao actually getting very much zoned out of this lane. He's got such a little ward coverage, he's got to be afraid of Lee Sin. It looks like he's just playing as far back as humanly possible.
And they've actually even opted for solo farm here for Vasily on the Twitch, going with that large wave, and they switched Shyvana down to defend their turret in a 1 versus 2 situation.
And they actually had more running around, making sure that the buffs had been cleared properly. I don't think he checked the Wolf Camp. That one's still actually partially cleared. But he went down to the blue buff and made sure it got the timer. And I was like, okay, yeah, it's going to be up at around 7 minutes.
And meanwhile, since Smithy is defending top, the blue for XCG will not respawn. It's still just got one little lizard there.
Oh, No Name walks by a ward. Looks like Ackerman is able to hold this wave fairly well, just with the threat of a jungle gank. He's going to get level 4 in this one, equal up to Zuna.
Sheep and Zuna are doing a great job of not giving away the fact that they have a ward, so they got an extra 5 seconds or so of No Name's time. But here comes the first TF ulti, no turret to run.
Oh, he locks a red card, but is it going to be enough? Sheep taking a bunch of damage.
Oh, he
Believes flashes
misses!
the wall. He does, but it's not going to mean enough. Ackerman will claim the kill. No, it's going to be No Name. 600 gold goes to LMQ.
All right, so Xiao messing up a couple times there, costs their team 2 flashes by not pulling the yellow card and not hitting the wild cards. But they still get the kill. It is the first blood, and they don't lose much of that wave in mid.
That was all good and successful there. Yeah, the down turret. Dual lane waiting around. No way to get away from that one.
XCG need to time that TF ulti. The first one is extremely long cooldown, and you can track that very easily. As well, both of the flashes that just got burned. XCG, even though they just got hit pretty hard, can use that information to their advantage.
Slow comes out from Vasily. Benny puts the Burning Agony down, but takes some decent damage. Loses a quarter of health, but he's going to stay there in the 1v2. And unfortunately for XDG, their gank's much harder to find. Smithy just walked through a ward, and he's not going to get anything there.
And that was just one of the LMQ globals. They still have the teleport available, and Nocturne one more level to get for his ultimate gank. We have to see if they can continue to snowball here. Vasily still working towards probably his Blade of the Ruined King rush.
I've seen a couple builds, because in Europe I've seen a lot of Bloodthirster Twitches, which I really like for the Expunge burst. But you go Ruined King and you're much more self-sufficient. You slow him down and you get the extra burst from the active. I personally like BT Twitch, but Ruined King a bit more common. Zuna Ackerman, bit of a trade. You can see the Shyvana now level 6, putting a lot of threat towards the AD carry. Zuna, this is half his health in that trade.
The wards are not very deep though for LMQ, so I expect Ackerman to either back off or start playing more cautiously. You don't go for those types of trades when you have 0 ward coverage, extending up that far.
Vasily and Moore not going to get pushed around, though. A ward does come through for Smithy, but I don't know if the ward's going to mean too much, except for defensive rotations towards mid. Ackerman kills away a pink ward, makes sure his team retains control over the jungle here. Looks like LMQ going to hold the mid lane for now. They're going to leave Benny in the top side. Dragon a minute 40 away, so it's just LMQ showing up to hold waves for now.
The ward placed by Ackerman will see the rotation from Sheep over down bottom. And he does have his ulti fully charged up, so he could jump over the wall. Not too dangerous for him. They're just really letting Mundo shove the wave into top. And let's see, they'll probably be feeding that gold over to Vasily once it gets close enough.
We're going to see Xiao Xiao hold the mid lane for now, so bit of a lull as we wait for Dragon to come back up.
They're actually opting to feed more money into their Shyvana here. One of the interesting things about this patch and the way that so many 4 vs 0 pushes play out is you get to choose who gets more money on your team, and LMQ want a tank. So they're funneling more of that money into Ackerman, not too concerned about the early Blade of the Ruined King from Twitch.
And there's going to be his build, though. Adds the longsword. Also rushes the Zerk Greaves, interestingly enough. I'm surprised to see that, but it will give Vasily more movement. Maybe you can find some more ambushes that way.
Yeah, I'm interested to see who, towards that mid game, they are going to have shoving versus Mundo, because a full tank Shyvana doesn't have the advantage over Mundo like the Blade of the Ruined King Shyvana does.
Well, so the attempted ambush. Vasily gets some good damage down, pushes ManCloud halfway out of the lane, and Xiao Xiao and the rest of the team show up there. So just the half HP. There's a TP in the flank, though. The fight's going to start for XDG. Benny pops ulti. Hook won't land, though. Now the push in towards Moore. He's level 4. The Fear Tether comes out. It's going to force XDG away. 2-man shockwave. But there comes Ackerman. The retreat comes through. Nice stun lands onto Smithy. Will the fight continue? Looks like XDG being forced away rather quickly. Zuna, level 6, trying to put damage through. Gets stunned again. 200 health under the turret.
Nobody goes down, but everybody really low for XDG, so that fight will win them the mid turret.
Briefcase is not going to do enough damage. Dragon's seemingly immune for that one. And mid turret is hard fought and earned by LMQ.
Now, LMQ did a great job of hiding that back. It was XCG who got the first 5-man around mid, and they were trying to press the advantage, but a great Glitter Lance and a great Gold card, LMQ are able to kite back, and even though Mandatory Cloud does land a Shockwave onto Twitch, nobody's in position to follow it up.
So, nothing gained for XDG, but LMQ well in control. Dragon goes down as well by them, around 11 minutes. And this team is certainly in control. The fan vote, actually even more now in LMQ's favor. They've realized just how strong this team is. Hype is pretty real for these guys.
I mean, last time around when LMQ were running Orianna into the Twitch and they were landing these shockwaves, there was so much backup damage to follow up the shockwave. But this XDG team does not really have it. The Lee Sin and the Mundo are not great at diving in. Lee Sin has to get a clear shot to get his Q in onto Twitch, and he hasn't been able to do that. It's very hard for them to get extra damage back there without just Mandatory Cloud, Shockwave, and Dissonance. So Vasily, even though he does get hit, he didn't have to worry too much. He still has heal, and he had the rest of XG on the run. So not really the same situation that Zuna was in when he had a Shyvana and a Nocturne diving right back into him when he got Shockwave.
Exactly. You press R and click on them, and you're going to be like, oh, they're on top of the AD carry. Mundo gets Glitter Lance, and he's just kind of sad for a while. So mid lane, a little bit under siege, but LMQ able to defend pretty properly. Smithy trying to make plays. Has a Blizzard Elder, but not getting enough. No Name sweeps the ward away. He's safe for the team. Ackerman in the wings right here, looking for maybe to make a move in. Get the defensive ward. Smithy spots blue. He's actually going to go for this one. He's got a little bit of backup.
They see Vasily down bottom. That's why they're forcing this, because they know, once again, we have numbers advantage. We want to press it when we have 5 vs 4. There's no way Vasily can get down here. And yet they get chased off their blue because they don't collapse all at the same time.
Gonna go for the battle anyway. Q comes out, smited, picked up by Smithy. Sheep cannot land hooks this game, though.
All right, so they took the blue, but there is a large wave shoving down bottom now that Vasily just cultivated over there, and he's joined the rest of the team now. So XCG are probably going to have to recall in the near future to deal with that bottom wave, which will give LMQ control of the map for the next 30 seconds, and they can get their ward coverage out there. They can start clearing away the pink wards and try and get some of this vision from XGG down.
Well, we're going to see if LMQ can keep that pressure going. Blue buff goes over to ManCloud. So a buff lead for XGG for sure, but is it enough to win some fights and actually earn their own territory back? Because LMQ are the team that typically turns the screws quite well and keeps the map under control. How long do XGG wait? Ruin King under 1,000 gold to go till Vasily has it. Bloodthirster still not picked up yet for Zuna. He's actually going to be taking minion waves back towards his inhibitor. So it looks like XGG happy to make sure farm goes to their AD carry. Whereas a bit more of an even split for LMQ.
Yeah, LMQ haven't been able to do much with this small opening that they had where they know that one person from XGG will be in the bottom lane farming. This game is so much of this sort of push and pull where each team gets to shove up when they have a minion wave. And once they crash into the turret, then it's the other team's turn for their rebuttal. And LMQ, they were not able to get much vision down or clear any out, actually. Nobody's still walking into that small bush and finding the pink.
So Ackerman set up the top lane, but no one's going to go for it. Benny just holds this one back, and the lane goes back to neutral here. Bottom lane pushed out as well. Zuna's going to recall. Should have, I'm guessing, BT and Zergs.
Yeah, probably. Get that early power spike. As well, the early power spike here from TF, the very popular build for North America, has been rushing Morel and Omicron. The early power spike as well as extra cooldown reduction for his ulti.
Yeah, it's a wonderful build. We haven't seen it since the first time, though. So right now, the Morel and Omicron not doing a lot for him, just adding some ability power. He is fighting 2 summoner heals and a Mundo, so it'll help for that at least.
Uh-oh.
Hook's gonna, oh no!
Miscommunication, I don't know. So that's not something that you actually talk about, but it's something that you have to play with the person for a longer time.
Yeah.
To sort of get on the same page there.
Smithy did not look pleased for that one.
Yeah, that was just... I mean, I guess you can sort of expect that Sheep will be going for those hooks if you play with his Thresh more often.
Yeah. One thing I've learned is you just like yell when you're going for an ability, like I'm hooking. He's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Or you can do those split-second callouts.
Yeah. Ooh, Shotgun hits on him more down at 1/3 health, but no
that's
follow-up.
a big cooldown that they won't have for a team fight now, though, and it was on the support only.
And no catch comes through in that one. ManCloud with Athenes, not a crazy cooldown, but yeah, it's down.
Oh, yeah, on the bright side, he also had blue buff, so blue buff plus Athenes gonna help out there.
55 seconds to go.
Won't hurt him too bad, but yeah, it's the small things that they don't seem like they're quite on the same page for XGG. LMQ, though, we haven't seen any action from these double globals. We have very little action.
We had single global.
Towards the mid game here, where I thought they're going to be making more moves after they get all these turrets down. They haven't used them yet.
Yeah.
So now is their opportunity, though, because TF, he can get half a map up there. He's going to have to walk all the way back to mid. But a good shove with the wave onto top here for LMQ will award them one more turret.
Oh, nicely done by those guys. 4 turrets to 2 right now. ManCloud not going to get much done in mid. Minions actually successfully dodged those cards better than most players would. Like one got hit right there. That was an excellent play.
Yeah, I don't know. Xiao has not been looking like he's mastered TF so far this game.
Yeah, he's a card adept. There we go. Kills those ones out. They walk mindlessly forward. Q comes out, does land Smithy. Finds some damage, but no follow-up. Once again, it's individual plays from XGG. That's all they're finding here.
Here we go. The second dragon fight. All right. There's the ward fights that preempt the dragon fight.
Taking him down.
Everybody
dragon.
getting here. Now we will see the double globals. So whichever team starts to tank up the dragon, going to be at a disadvantage. LMQ, the combo that they're looking for is the Siobhan and Nocturne initiate, backed up by a Lulu ulti. Watch ManCloud here. See where he can position this ball.
XGG starts. Vasily does get spotted by the pink ward. Hook onto Ackerman. This fight might start it. He jumps in the back line. Great knockup for the kick back. Sheep, they're going to get dived on. He goes down. Vasily finds one. Benny goes down as well. Double kill. One kill goes back, though, for XGG. Zuna over the wall. 2 for 1. The flash stun comes through. Ackerman the chase as well. Slowed down. And Zuna also falls. 3-1 LMQ.
So even though you catch the tank there, that's the combo with Lulu. They get a great Lulu knockup. LMQ are able to take the dragon after that fight. And again, we're going to see a swing here for LMQ. They were already gaining extra map pressure on XCG with the extra turrets, but now they also have cleared out the dragon. So there's that amazing Lulu knockup. And then again, Smithy kicks out Ackerman, so they don't have the double dive. And when No Name goes in deep, he actually has to walk back through the box, so they do get 1 kill, but the double flash and then Cutlass active from Ackerman makes sure that they were to chase him down.
And there was actually no shockwave that entire fight. So no, Mantla never found like a place to lock the team down in, which I'm surprised at, because the backline actually did come through.
I don't know. The kickback of Shyvana might have thrown them off, but there was so much opportunity for him to set up one in that fight.
So LMQ just finding better picks so far. Level 12 Twisted Fate. Ulti 3/4 of the way back in. Used it to help get vision during the last battle. We're going to see Benny again squaring off against Ackerman, but a level lead here for the LMQ top laner.
Oh, they've got an early Mikhails as well here from Moore. So whoever even gets Thresh Hook, they can actually get him back out. So I also like it because they're looking to buff up their front line as much as possible. Lulu already providing the extra health and shields, but now he can give life back as well. As we saw, No Name is very squishy, and he hasn't hit that point of the Blade of the Ruined King plus barrel, which is the really scary point for Nocturne. So he's not that threatening, and you can see when he has to run back, when he turns tail and tries to run out of the team fight, he gets taken down very quickly. So they need all of the defensive items that they can to sort of back up his early game offensive orientation with Nocturne.
Yeah. I do like the overall build though for LMQ, because they know they've got this like high damage Nocturne in there, right? Both games. Ackerman just goes tank. The only damage item he really gets is he stops a Cutlass, which is actually less than half the price of a Ruin King.
Yeah, he just wants that slow.
Just the slow, exactly.
So when he can get on Lucian, he can stick him there. As we saw, he used it effectively after the last flash. Also, the Zanya is completed for Xiaowei Sao. So now he has the ability to bait in XCG as well. Maybe going with some Messiah plays in the near future.
Let's see. Smithy right now just forced to kind of control his own jungle. More sweeps with the pink ward that was put down in the last dragon fight, and you can see there are very, very few red wards down. Vasily looks like he will not be able to make a play in the mid lane just yet. Backstop plays a bit more safely here. And look at the pink ward on Baron though. Now they got a uncontested Baron not long ago, right? In game 1, they set up the ward control and got it completely without anyone looking at them sideways. This might be their play once again. Vasily looks for a move.
So they do have all of their globals available. And when XCG have been getting behind, they haven't really been making any plays, going for anything here. Vasily really dodging everything!
That was awesome.
All right, he's first pick in the dodgeball game.
Yeah.
That's for sure. I thought for sure he was going to get caught there. Very, very close. All right, so Vasily, quick on the trigger. If you're playing Twitch, you have to be able to do stuff like that because he has no other option of getting out of this one. And LMQ avoid disaster right there. Yeah. That would have been huge for XDG. Those are the picks that they want. Yeah. They had the numbers advantage as well as being able to get the initiate onto an 80 carry. That would have been perfect for XDG.
Here comes the pick, though. Smithy might get locked up. The Lantern not going to find anybody. Oh, the lockup from Lulu. Smithy has nowhere to go. Finally gets out. Shockwave claims no name. But there comes Shyvana. 1 for 1 so far. ManCloud, the box ball slows down Shyvana. Benny in the front lines taking a whole bunch of pain, and he goes down. The Flay comes back in, but Vasily is ready to deal a whole bunch of damage. Sheep forced away. And he's going to be safe.
So after LMQ avoid disaster with Vasily dodging, then XCG just go back to farming their own jungle, and they're able to get that pick with a TF ulti plus Nocturne. That's the double globals, and the double globals will award them a global objective.
There we go. Tier 2 mid turret falls as well, and all the minions die right after. No counter pressure available for XDG.
All right, so let's watch the initiate here from TF. Because he has the Zanyas, he has the confidence to TP in right next to 2 melees. And No Name's able to complement his initiation, but he is going to pay for that one with his life, and Ackerman has to come in from the side to finish their kill. Benny tries to do the same thing, taking up the rest of LMQ, but not able to withstand the damage of that Twitch. With the attack speed and Blade of the Ruin King, he's able to melt through the health tank.
Yeah, one thing that happened there as well is that like Benny actually lost health by using his ultimate. He was actually below 40% by the time he even used it, so he's already under Morellonomicon and just like didn't gain anything back before he died.
Yeah. Early Morellonomicon is already popular on TF now, and it just kind of works even better being able to apply that over and over because he also has the on-hit magic damage, so even just auto attacks.
Yeah.
We'll be applying that to Mundo.
And look at Benny's build, because he's not even going for like the high damage Sunfire. He's like, Randuin's Visage, I need to not die is my #1 priority. And I know you talked about XCG not having follow-up damage, but this is even more in this line where Benny is an even less of a damage threat. And even with this tanky build, it's still been going down. XCG do find themselves mid-outer, but Ackerman will get top tier 2 to half.
Right, LMQ are pushing 2 lanes while XCG only pushing 1 lane, and they're going to lose an inhibitor turret for this mid lane push.
Wow, look at this. No Name going to be joined up with the rest of the team. Yeah, it's going to be the quick teleport for Ackerman. Inhib turret goes down. XCG kind of waiting around. Zuna's going to get this one, but there's no one to defend this.
And they're not even looking to stop anytime soon here. That will be inhibitor. Definitely not worth for XCG there.
There's all 5.
Oh,
Vasily.
they can't finish it though. Vasily gets out of his invisibility. See if they can get back in time to stop Zuna now. The rest of XCG, goal right now, stop all the recalls. They're buying Zuna as much time as they can. It's a dangerous game, but they're playing it pretty well so far.
TF ult, is he going to go for a mid? He's going to go for the team fight. They're going to go for the 5v4 in the base. Can they find much? The disengaged Mancloud tries to stay alive. Down goes Benny. 1 for 0, 2 for 0. Can they make it 3? Well, at least they get the inhibitor already.
Yeah, that's why I was calling it a dangerous game. TF can turn it around instantly. Also, No Name able to fall back up, and they can just take your Nexus turrets, even though Zuna's getting the inhibitor.
2 versus 5. The Shockwave lands on a 2, but is it going to be enough? Mancloud finds the kill onto No Name. Ackerman kicked back, but turret #1 is gone. Zuna is going to recall, and LMQ actually, they get the 1 turret for it.
So taking just 1 Nexus turret, not that big of a deal. It's actually a pretty good trade to go for that inhibitor and exchange just 1 Nexus turret there for XDG. So they commit to it, and because of a great shockwave from Mancloud, they're able to defend.
XDG went -1 kill and went +2 turrets on that entire trade. Actually,
also
XDG won that trade.
Dragon.
True. All right.
Continue
4
the
equal
formula.
Here. Yeah.
+1 Baron? Question mark? Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
XCG going for the early Baron. They hook over. Can they get the Lantern? Smithy does not have a Feral Flare, though, so this isn't a super fast Baron. However, they should be able to get it because of LMQ's commitment to the Dragon. XCG trying to make the comeback move here.
LMQ are making their way over.
No Name's coming.
They got the wards down, but looks like XDG Volcan with this one. Baron goes down. They're going to be safe, but they're down 9K.
So this time around, XCG are the ones who trade, and they get the Baron for Dragon. LMQ actually got the benefit of that last time. Good move there from XCG. We said they needed to take more chances, and that was definitely one that paid off well for them.
That was very big. They've got to hold on to this, though. Both teams missing an inhibitor, so minions are going to do really crazy things to the map. And the question now is, which team can react better to the map situation? Minions flood in on either side. Baron buff is on all of XDG, though. And it doesn't really make up for the gold deficit. It's close. But the stats on Baron still actually put XCG arguably weaker in a fight.
The thing is, LMQ don't have a great sieging team right here. They have Twitch, who, sitting in one spot, it would be very dangerous for him. LMQ are all about catching people outside, out on the map, in Summoner's Rift, far away from their base. But there's nothing to draw XCG away from their base. The Dragon was just taken, the Baron was just taken. So XDG can just turtle right now, and they can farm up. They can get to a little bit closer to that late game and try and make the discrepancy of cash a little less impactful.
Looks like no catch there for XDG. It's interesting to see the kind of situations that LMQ can put themselves in compared to the ones that XDG can, because of the fact that like Twitch is like way pushed up with no one around, but they've got TF. It's safe for LMQ to do this.
So they've got Zuna down bottom. This is actually a 4 versus 5, and LMQ can force around an outer turret. 4 vs 5, they're fine sieging up. TF going to shove middle and come in with his ulti if they get a pick.
Smithy wants it though, kicks in, Vasily gets knocked up by Lulu though, here comes the fight, Moore is low, ManCloud goes down right away without getting his shockwave down. Here comes Zuna trying to turn it back around, but it's a 2 for 0, 3 for 0 so far, the dive still comes in, No Name forces the flash out of Zuna. It's a great team fight, LMQ.
Kick in Vasily and there's no damage follow-up. There's a red card anyway. All right, he wants to get rid of the red. Ooh. Smithy with the okey doke, but their base is being destroyed right now, so. And Xiao Xiao's not giving up on the chase either. He's still hunting them.
Well, it's still a 4 versus 1 though. It's going to work quite well. LMQ going to find an inhibitor number 2 on this one. And
Xiao Xiao's still on the hunt.
He
got him.
Smithy. Oh! Bottom inhib has respawned, which means the mid inhibitor for LMQ also about to do the same. LMQ walk away from this one with...
Oh, the pink ward is actually going to take the hits for Smithy.
Good guy, pink ward.
Whew.
Good guy, pink ward. Smithy makes his way out. But LMQ now up 12,000 gold. Very much an advantageous trade for those guys.
Yeah, I mean, they go for the initiation. He got a great kick onto Vasily inside, but there was 0 damage to follow it up, even at the turret. As we said, Zuna was down bottom, and he didn't get to join the fight until someone had already died from XDG. So LMQ, just by being in position and being able to have so many globals where TF can just instantly join the fight, huge advantage, and they get the collapse onto the turret, which awards them another inhibitor. And another one is exposed, so they can easily just force it there.
And so we'll see when LMQ goes for that kind of death push. These guys are ahead by a lot. 30 minutes in. The first game, they got about 33. Actually, I'm wrong on that one. It was like 27 or something like that. The LMQ getting ready. Mid inhibitor's dead, bottom inhibitor's open. Ackerman setting up the bottom lane for this one. Plenty tanky. Randuin's Banshees, and just the Cutlass to make sure.
So they're not even 5-on-5 forcing a fight at this inhibitor. They're still playing to this global team here, spreading out and making sure that XCG have to commit to one side, in which case they can all just jump on that side.
Well, attempted wave clear from Zuna, but it's not going to be enough. Tier 2 turret top lane goes down. There's only 2 turrets left on the map for XDG. Top inhibitor and 1 Nexus turret. ManCloud right now on defense. Zuna backing him up. Benny soloing the bottom lane, but LMQ, they are ready to siege this one. No Name and Moore, and Vasily take the top lane. Xiao holds mid, and Ackerman to the bottom.
All right, so this will probably be the last desperate fight here from XCG. They need to get a good shockwave, and they have to have someone in position to follow up. We've seen either shockwaves hitting Twitch or Smithy getting a Q on Twitch. We haven't seen both of them at the same time, and that's really the formula for XDG success.
See if they can find it. Dragon 35, Benny loses a lot of health. Xiao taking a decent bit of damage. Ackerman too. Looks like the split post siege not really doing much. Maybe it's the bottom of the ManCloud takes gigantic damage. There's the jump in from Nocturne, and down goes ManCloud.
Well,
TF
no
Bolt comes in. Moore is low. Vasily pushed away. This could be bad. Briefcase flashed away. Bottom inhibitor goes down, and here comes the rest of the chase. 4 versus 5. The dive in from Ackerman. Zuna under fire, takes a lantern to get out. Now Smithy under a bit of pressure, and Zuna does go down. Now 5v3. Bennett getting chased. He's going to fall as well. Only 2 members alive for XDG, and this should be LMQ closing out the second game. 32 minutes in. Smithy just, dancing back and forth, but that is going to be the game. 1 game to go, and LMQ is in the LCS.
Another dominating performance as well. Now the smiles are happening. They're getting really close. After the first game, they're a little trepid, but now we saw some emotion.
Yes, smiles coming out for these guys. And they know, and of course you look over at XDG and you realize this is not where they wanted to be. We gotta find something to make it work. Honestly, the playmaking, it's not synced up. Single man shockwaves, missed hooks, kicks backwards into nobody. XGG, they gotta find something to pull themselves back in this one. They can go for the 3-0. They can close it out the other way around, go for the 3-2 victory, and pull back the last games of the series.
And they kind of won with the opposite matchups this time around. They are the ones running Twitch. They ran into Orianna. It's not looking good for XDG.
It's not. It's not. I mean, Zuno walked into Shockwaves in game 1, and this one man, Cloud, just couldn't find the opening. He actually missed it in half his fights. I just didn't see Shockwaves come out. Honestly, the performances are not there for XDG, though. Like, this is a team that just seems to continue to fall down, where they're just not playing as well as they were before.
Nobody can argue with you on that one,
No.
Freak. This is not the team that went to Worlds.
No, it's not. It's not. And it's not Sheep's fault. I think he's playing pretty well, but it's just everyone else seemed to be dropping the ball a little bit here. But for more on LMQ's win, let's send over to Jat, Scar, and Dominate at the analyst desk.
Thanks, Freak. This one took 32 minutes. The previous one took 28 minutes, but things aren't going well for them. Dominate, let's start with you. Why do you think this game went the way it did?
I just feel like XDG took the first loss really hard. Like, after they went to that first red buff fight, you could tell that every fight after that, even in game 2, they weren't confident going into the fights. They would start the fights with like weird TPs or like with like maybe a one-man Ori ult or a Lee Sin kick that's not really in the right position. It just feels like they aren't confident in fighting, and they're a fighting-based team. So I don't really know where they go from here.
Scar?
I think XCG's notoriously been the team that got leads in the early game and closed it out. And right now it looks like they're not getting any leads, and they don't have a better team fight. Like, they don't have the team synergy to be able to close out a game. It's looking really poor for them right now.
So what's happening with XGG then? How are they not able to come out on top in any of the early game engagements?
It just seems like I don't even feel like the very early team fights they're losing terribly because I feel like the teamwork is just not there. Like, they don't team fight correctly, and the way that, again, I agree with Dom, the way that they come into team fights is really strange. Like, there's a random TP in, or just like their positioning is really poor, or just how they expect a team fight. Like, no one's on the same page. They're not all peeling back like at the same time, or they're not all committing at the same time. So just a weird smodge podge of people, and then it just feels very lackluster to watch.
All right, let's actually take it all the way back to picks and bans, though. After game 1, Dominate said he wanted 2 mid lane bans against Xiao Xiao. Xiao get 3. They went with 2. They went with the Nidalee ban and the Soraka ban. As far as picks and bans kind of went, with Nocturne being first pick for LMQ, how did that play out? Was it an advantage for XGG or LMQ?
I personally like the pick ban phase from LMQ significantly more. When you have Nocturne and then you're playing into the Lee Sin, it puts this timer on the game as jungler, where the Lee Sin knows that if he doesn't make plays within the first maybe 5-6 minutes, he's going to be behind. It's not going to be possible for him to engage on the Nocturne. Spell Shield is so good against Lee Sin because it blocks 2 abilities, generally speaking, if you can block the first one. So straight off pick bans, I think that XDG was behind, and then throughout the game, they just weren't able to make any of the plays they needed to pull out advantages.
Yeah, you guys actually said 6 minutes. If Smithy doesn't make a good gank happen before 6 minutes, then they were kind of doomed. Did you see that play style for them, or were they just lackadaisical the whole time?
They just weren't there. Like, I feel like, yeah, I agree. If they don't get a kill within 6 minutes with Lee Sin, they auto lose the game, and they just did.
Yeah, I mean, we could kind of see that actually in a fairly early fight onto the game, about 17 minutes, 30 seconds, where this was kind of the last chance they had because they were already down about 3,000 gold. If we could get that up on the screen, I want you guys to walk us through why this fight in particular went wrong for XGG.
So I definitely think that the main problem here is that they start the Dragon. They're not really committed to fighting or turning here. They're kind of just waiting for LMQ to position the perfect fight, which is something that they obviously don't want to take. And as you see, like, it opens up, they aren't even able to get a shockwave throughout the whole fight because there just isn't any opening. There isn't any time where he feels comfortable putting the ball in between people, and he feels like the shockwave's going to make an impact in the fight. So really, I think that fight came down to them starting Dragon when they didn't have the best advantage, and just misplaying the fight from there.
So is that fight more about ManCloud dropping the ball, or was it LMQ just finding a situation which XGG couldn't fight back against?
I think their team position was just poor. Like, I agree with Dom that they shouldn't have started the Dragon. And just like the fan out from LMQ was really good. Like, they sent the Shiv in early, got a 3-man knockup with Lulu, and they were able to space out the Ori with Nocturne pressure for her to be unable to find an ulti. And it was on ManCloud to be able to find an opening, but it's also on his team to be able to peel backwards correctly and not like forced in that kind of situation. And they kind of they forced into a Twitch, which is pretty much guaranteed that you're just gonna lose a team fight.
Yeah, and there's something I wanted to point out there is even though it looks like they started the Dragon and they were making a play with a lot of initiative, it was actually a reactionary-based play. They saw TF hovering around mid, and they know that if they don't commit to the Dragon, they're just going to lose their mid turret. So they're kind of in this situation where they're like, oh, we don't really know what to do. There doesn't seem to be a good option. Just start Dragon, and maybe we get into a profitable fight.
And is there any way, really, you see them coming back, maybe making some sneak plays, doing a different team composition? What are XTG's options coming into Game 3 to avoid a sweep?
It's really hard. Like I just think they need to find early kills. Like XTG has always been a team that snowballs off early kills, and that's what you really want to. You really want to put their players in positions where they're ahead. Like I feel like ManCloud is like maybe like just okay if he's even, but if you give him like 1 kill or 2 kills, he goes off. And so it's up to Xmithy to set the pace of these games, and it sucks because Xmithy hasn't been able to find too much in the first 2 games.
He even had that one missed flash when everyone's playing a little bit off, and in this game in particular, actually, they did sneak the Baron, and we were kind of thinking maybe they could pull off a miracle here, but then their teamfight execution still wasn't there. Let's actually pull that one up on the screen as well. After they got the Baron around this time, Dominate, you can start here. What went wrong for XTG?
Here's another fight where they do get a kick, but they're just so far behind here that it's just tough for them to fight. And I don't know exactly what happens to ManCloud, but he's not able to get a shockwave. He either got CC'd or something prevented him from being able to get a shockwave. And just not getting an Ori shockwave when you're this far behind, there's pretty much no way you can win a fight without that.
Yep. That should have been something where, like that was just poor communication. Like I look at that, I'm like, well, where's the teamwork in that? As soon as the Lee Sin tells the team that he's looking for a kick, they should immediately be like, they should immediately know that he's looking for the kick. The kick was actually really good. If they had immediately give Vasily there that stops the push and they have Baron, they're able to turn it out for another 5 minutes. But unfortunately, like Vasily gets kicked into melee range of Ori and just like kills Ori in 3 hits. And it's like, well, they definitely messed up there.
Yeah, not to get too far ahead of ourselves though, but with a 2-0 down in a best of 5, there's a pretty good chance that LMQ is going to be making it into the LCS. With all the hype behind them in the Challenger Series, not necessarily playing against the LCS caliber teams, where do you really see them stacking up if they make it in?
I think right now they're in the middle of the road. Like I don't really see them taking games off the top 3 right now, like consistent games. I definitely don't see them taking games off C9, like more than like 1 in like a best of 3. I think they're in the middle of the road, and once they get into LCS, it's up to them where they go.
Dominate?
Yeah, for me too, I'd say it's middle of the pack. Like if I had to rank them right now, I'd say 4th, 5th. They'd probably be competing with us, not able to necessarily consistently beat the top 3 teams, but just like a level above the bottom tier teams of the league. So I think they'd probably just be like 4th, 5th starting out, and from there they could either go up or down.
Yeah. So a 4th, 5th type LCS team who's playing against XG right now, who is sitting in the 8th seed. Remember, XG did beat every single team in the LCS once. Do they have a win for them in this series, do you think?
I think it's just down to Xmithy. Like everything falls on the back of Xmithy. He needs to get the ball rolling, and it's just going to be really, really hard because overall their teamwork just has not been there this series.
All right, well, with that win, LMQ are just 1 win away from joining the North American LCS, and after the break, we'll see if they can get it done in Game 3 against XTG. We'll be right back.
Starts, Vasily does get spotted by the Pinkward hook onto Ackerman. This fight might start it. He jumps in the back line. Great knockup for the kick back. Sheeptho going to get dived on. He goes down. Vasily finds 1. Benny goes down as well. Double kill. 1 kill goes back though for XTG. Zuna over the wall. 2 for 1. The flash stun comes through. Ackerman the chase as well. Slowed down. And Zuna also falls. 3-1 LMQ.
And come in with his ulti if they get a pick.
Xmithy wants it though. Kicks in. Vasily gets knocked up by Lulu though. Here comes the fight. More is low. ManCloud goes down right away without getting his shockwave down. Here comes Zuna trying to turn it back around, but it's a 2 for 0. 3 for 0 so far. The dive still comes in. No name.
Like these couple months have probably been the hardest for our team than any of the past splits. Being able to experience what Worlds was last season and like to be on the bottom of this season.
EG will take down XDG.
All that's on the line or on our minds is we could get our jobs taken away, and it's kind of like fighting for our lives in a sense. So yeah, this week's been hard.
Welcome back to the 2014 Summer Promotion Tournament. We want to check in with you guys have been saying at Twitter. Earlier in the broadcast, we asked which player are you most excited to see play this weekend and why? Up first at NJ Chef says Vasily is going to absolutely run wild this weekend, and I can't wait to see it.
His last kill there on ManCloud, under the turret, just opening up as Twitch, definitely wild. A lot of confidence there, and it paid off.
Yeah, he's going to have a battle against a TSM AD carry. Who can be more wild? I don't know. Master AOUS says, I'm really looking forward to seeing Westrice on the big stage. The man has put in so many years for this moment.
Westrice was in competitive League of Legends before there was an LCS.
Yep.
Back in the day. And he has never gotten to play in an LCS game, though. So definitely I'm always rooting for him as well, too.
Yeah, we'll
Just
see.
Old guys.
Yeah, we'll see him tomorrow, see if he can do it. At Joe Dixon LOL says Cloud9 Tempest's Vishu. We've seen him stream a lot, and I'm really excited to see how he performs versus Evil Geniuses at a LAN event.
Yeah, that's going to be a pretty interesting matchup, that Cloud9 team versus the EG team. Very interested to see how the new young AD carry does as well, Altec coming into the scene, because he's going against Pobelter, who was previously in his spot. You know, he was too young to play, and then he finally did get in. Now they're actually going to have to fight for the one spot.
Yeah, think about guys like Bjergsen, right? Joined Copenhagen Wolves in the middle of last spring split, and he became one of the best mid laners in the world, really. So anyway, guys, thanks for the great responses. Remember, you can still join the conversation by tweeting at LOL Esports and using the hashtag LCS. But now let's get right into our next game, XDG Gaming versus LMQ. Now, Kobe, for XDG, they have to win the next 3 games in a row if they want to hold on to the LCS spot. There's no room for mistakes here. And when you look at some of their players, you got guys who are making mistakes. And I want to point out ManCloud.
Yeah, honestly, it's looking like it's a very, very uphill battle for these guys. They haven't been coordinated with anyone else on their team, it looks like. Everybody's making their own individual plays, and even those individual plays, there are still some mistakes in them.
Yeah, but on the other side, we have guys who are playing amazingly, and that's LMQ. Their team overall seems to be firing on all cylinders, and I really like their top lane, Ackerman, because he's been so consistent. He's been making plays overall. He's one of the main engaged tools, and it's working for him.
Yeah, and he's, like I said before so many times, he's playing with just a lot of confidence, even when they don't have perfect ward coverage. He's extending pretty far up, getting these little advantages for his team, and he's always there for the team fight as well, ready to come up and dive into the back line.
Yeah, so everything working there for these guys, and you're thinking about it, and it's like, okay, they've got a front line that's working, their lanes are doing well. I do think that Xiaowei versus ManCloud holds even. Like, they're just trading farm back and forth, and if you run like a Karthus or an Orianna or anyone that's like passive farming, it's gonna work that way. I feel like if you're XDG trying to make a change here in the game, you rely on that. And you say, okay, what else can we do differently? They made the 4-on-0 push work properly in game 2. That went okay. It seems like LMQ aren't making hyper aggressive moves early on.
It's outplays in team fights.
Yes.
It's just clear as that. I mean, they're just winning these early game dragon fights, outplaying them in a team on 5-on-5 action, and they just take that lead and they gain control of the entire map.
Yeah, so speaking of team fights, XTG removed the Shyvana. See, Ackerman, you've done too much with that. Dragon Descent was crazy.
Interesting tact here they're taking now.
Soraka's still banned away, actually. My guess is they ban Ori and first pick Nidalee. That's my guess for how XDG plays the rest of his champ select out. LMQ.
They do need to pull some other strategy. Team fighting does not work for them. Maybe going with a full poke team would be the optimal choice for them, because they do need to try another strategy, it looks like. They haven't been able to come out with any of these mid-game team fight wins.
It seems like LMQ was up to something, though. They actually banned Nocturne themselves, thinking that XDG was actually going to go for that on an early rotation pick. That's interesting to me, and it is. There it is.
All right, so there you go. You got your Nidalee pick. Now, to build around that Nidalee pick, they would love to get Thresh. This is really LMQ's opportunity to steal away Thresh, because you just love Thresh when you're in a pick comp. He has so much disengage, so much peel. I think that's a pretty high priority pick here for LMQ, if just even to take it away from XDG.
Well, we'll see what they go for this one, actually. They're still hovering on the Lulu to make the engage happen. Like, it seems like people have stopped playing Annie, and I think Moore's also kind of stopped playing Leona for some reason, and he's relying on, you know, I'll just make Ackerman a better engager with his champions instead.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Lulu does have both the engage and disengage in her kit, but I still feel like Thresh's combo would be so good for them right now.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so they lock in a Renekton. Not anything new here for Ackerman, but there were some changes made to the champion, and he hasn't gone with it before. So I guess it's now second to Shyvana, having to be shoved onto that one.
He's going to be happy with that one. Like, that was a champion that was getting banned away from him by most teams that face LMQ. Like, Ackerman destroys some fools top lane with that Renekton.
So let me say that just because his ult was taken down a notch in the early game, he still bullies champions. He bullies champions before 6. It's not like Renekton's early game bullying power was completely taken away. He has not been neutered. He's still extremely strong in the early game.
Well, XEG, though, pretty fully committing to the fact they want to disengage and rely on javelins. The Morgana comes through for Sheep. That was banned away in game 2. The Lee Sin, of course, still the early game playmaking, but has the kick disengage. And now LMQ got to find their way in. They know this is a poke comp. They know they need some way into the fight. They could do it with Zed split pushing being an assassin. They could do it with hardcore engage. See what their choice is.
So hovering over Annie, I like that. It's the hard engage they want. Multiple stun. When you're going up against Morgana, you don't want to rely on something single target like Vi, because they can easily outplay you with a Black Shield. And going with the safer AoE stun here, a Flash Tibbers is, you know, not everybody's going to be able to avoid that. And even Morgana will have a hard time reacting to that since they come out so quickly.
Okay, well.
Negative. It will be the invisible bug that you have to deal with.
It's still Lulu.
It's pretty much impossible to avoid an invisible Kha'Zix coming into your team and then getting a Lulu ult. So similar effect there. They get AoE knockups to try and lock down multiple people. And XEG continue with their poke theme.
I want to see if LMQ does go to Yasuo, though, and just relies solely on the Lulu ulti to get him into the fights. I think it would work. You talk about him being hard to evade, and then you get the wild growth to make it happen. XG, though, I think they made the right choice with these last few picks. Ryze versus Renekton is a great matchup. I'm surprised they even banned Renekton in game 1, just because I think that matchup is always good for Benny, and he's a good Ryze player. But the Caitlyn, the safe, the long-range AD carry, you can siege up early on. Your lane's going to be fine. I think XG, for the first time, actually like their champ selection in this series.
This draft phase seems like it's gone better for XCG just because they're trying something new, and they also have more favorable matchups this time around.
Well, but LMQ, though, they're taking their time to figure out how they want to deal with this composition. Is it the Lulu Yasuo? Is it going to be Twisted Fate to flank in the back lines? It is the Yasuo.
Yeah, regardless, what they want is a strong early game because they want to keep this Ryze from scaling up, and they want to be able to have that engage to attack the Nidalee. Definitely, they're going to want to control blue buff and see if they can continue with not the first steal, because those are usually taken away by the invades, but really the second blue buff spawn and try and control the game from that second spawn midpoint.
Well, we'll see who gets the better lead in the first 8 minutes of the game then. To get that second buff under control, champions been swapped around. We know the lineups here. It's all about now how they play it out. I think both these comps have the tools to succeed. I think the lanes, I would argue, are a little bit better for XDG, just because I think you can always survive as Nidalee. I think Caitlyn's going to win kind of all of them.
So the thing is about your Ryze and Renekton matchup, if you just leave Ryze alone with Renekton, then yeah, he's range, you can harass him down very well. However, Renekton has the all-in potential. At any time, if he gets assistance, he can kill Ryze, and if he does kill Ryze, then he can all-in him over and over in the lane, and you can keep him down easily.
It's true. It's a thing to watch out for. So the game's just about to get underway. So tweet your predictions to @LOL Esports. Use the hashtag XDGWin or LMQWin. We'll be checking in on the vote periodically throughout the game for your real-time predictions. We'll see how these guys can actually play out their compositions. We've got Sheep playing his third support in 3 games, Zuna playing his third AD carry in 3 games. Pretty much everyone actually running different things. For the most part, unless they get banned out.
Smithy's still on Lee Sin, and he has to shine this game. That early game that I talked about being crucial for LMQ, it's Smithy's job to control it this time around. So everybody for XCG is probably going to be looking for Smithy to at least protect the Ryze and Nidalee until they can get a couple of items. They just need about 2 each, and then they should scale up fine.
And I think the team comp actually might help save XCG from themselves.
Uh-huh.
Because they'll realize like they can't chase people.
Yeah, they have to play with the long-range game here.
Yeah. That's how they lost game 1, was chasing into a Fog of War, Brash, and a Shockwave. And so if XCG can save them from themselves, I think they have a better chance here. LMQ, though, they're playing right into their comfort. They're like, great, we'll get ahead early on, and then we'll just freaking engage fights out of nowhere, and it's going to work out well for them. So both teams, I think, set up for success. Both teams heading over towards...
And it's not like as soon as Nidalee gets an Athenes, then the Spears are going to be OP and take over the game. They've got the win wall. They can hold out through the sieges of XCG until they can get their engage down. And as I said before, there's not really anything you can do as XCG to stop this engage except putting down lots of pink wards or upgrading your sweeper extremely early, because the Kazakhs will be able to get into your team in position for a Lulu ulti, which will combo for Xiao Xiao.
XCG right now just checking some brushes. No early wards go down for these guys. None that I see anyway.
Yeah, they're being pretty stingy here. Stingy start from XCG. The extra mana potion there for Sheep rather than opting for a ward.
I'm actually surprised to see mana potions on Morgana. I feel like she doesn't normally have great mana issues.
He might not have even gone that deep in utility and gone more defense heavy.
It's definitely a possibility.
With his masteries.
He's got 47 MR, I believe. So yeah, that's at least like 18 points defense.
All right, so bottom side start for both these teams, and for game 3, we finally get to see normal lanes play out.
Okay, 2-on-2 down to the bottom lane. Caitlyn, Morgana, I gotta say one of the strongest lanes in League of Legends. Dark Binding, the level 1 choice for Sheep. We'll see if they get any picks with that one. No name, starts with the blue buff, goes to the white. And here we go, the lane matchup. Moore does land some Glitter Lance damage. He's also gone for Spell Thief's Edge. Take a lot of damage from the camp, but it's worth a lot of gold.
Yeah, the reason that he's confident that he doesn't have to rush over to his red buff and get both of them, which usually as a jungler you want to grab both your buffs very quickly so they don't get countered, is that the ward coverage from LMQ, the early ward coverage, gives him the confidence. There's no chance that anyone is invading his jungle right now. Both paths are covered.
All right, so everybody's going to be safe in this one. Manclad push into the turret early on. He's going to be losing not too many minions, but it's 8-12, so it is a lead for Xiao Xiao. No Name gets his red buff. Both junglers now level 3 on the top side of the map. Will the top lane get hit? Good binding. Vasily going to take some damage in that one, but more. It's a nice Glitter Lance off that
top, yeah, we want to prep this one because Lee Sin has the ability to lane gank really easily with Ryze, who can snare Ackerman, but it doesn't have the chance of a very high kill potential unless he blows his slice and dice on some aggression in lane.
Oh, this is really cool. No Name doesn't know this is warded because Smithy warded it, and Ackerman would have told him that Benny never left lane to ward. So No Name sneaks into this one, and he thinks he's unknown.
Let's see who can bait better this time around.
Well, Ackerman goes
There's
in.
the slice and dice down.
All right, but it's going to be a 2v2. Both teams know it. In comes Kazakhs, but is it going to be enough? No Name. She gets a lot of health down onto Smithy. Stalemate.
All right, so the ward not really paying off there, but the epic exchange, Ackerman's able to return to base with an early CS lead. Ryze doesn't really want to go back to base until he can complete the tier or go early Catalyst. So he needs to get one of those mana items on his first back or it's a complete fail. So he has gotten the tier and using the teleport back, of course.
All right, well, looks like no binding, no Glitter Lance going to land here. More Vasily still holding on to their lane. Potions all used by both supports, so very aggressive start. Everyone's out of consumables in the bottom lane.
I also want to point out that No Name, after the exchange up top, he took the opportunity to enter XDG's jungle.
Smithy actually got his shield stopped, but goes in. No Name takes a big chunk, but the heal is used to keep him alive. It was great on both sides.
Yeah, Xiao with the summoner heal there. They're able to bait in Smithy a little bit, but he wasn't in any danger of dying. So both summoners from the mid laners are used to protect their junglers.
Xiao though, he just feels so dominant right now. He's got an experience lead. He's pushing in all the time. His knockup's available. He could go for this on ManCloud. No.
Well, he
He's
does
got
not
too much
have
health
Ignite.
now.
Normally, when you see this solo lane matchup of a Yasuo versus Nidalee, on previous patches, he might have gone for that. But since both of them were defensive summoners, pretty dangerous to go in there.
That was a nice win wall. Block 2 caster minion CS.
An early lane phase from Nidalee. It's no surprise, not that strong. So Xiao, you know, he's doing this with no ward coverage though, so that at least shows some bold confidence from him. Return to mid lane from both junglers though.
All right, some damage from Smithy.
They actually
Javelin
have,
lands 2.
No name in the vicinity as well.
Yeah. Comes down, reveals himself. It does let XDG and LMQ know that the other lanes are safe from ganks for now. No name walking off to the top side of the map. Puts a ward down that spots like Smithy. And they both return to their jungles. Dual lane, happy to fight if they want.
They also saw where Xiao placed his ward too, so Smithy can use that to his advantage. But man, No Name is on the hunt here. Again, in his own jungle.
Big damage comes through. This might help with that one as well. Here comes ManCloud, though. The damage, massive for this one, but No Name. Smithy, don't do it. He didn't. ManCloud, one hit from dead. The heal comes out. Oh, the shield, it's enough. First blood goes over to ManCloud.
And No Name too deep in enemy territory. ManCloud's able to come help while Xiao farms in the mid lane.
Man, he's gonna this is, yeah, there you go. Back off of that one. But it's gonna be still, even with the first blood though, 20 minion lead makes that roughly equivalent across those two mid laners there. ManCloud is gonna get the first recall, but he's gonna be down a bit in XP.
Yeah, those invades, it would have been favorable for LMQ, but they did not coordinate once again. This time around, it's actually LMQ who don't get the communication on points.
And you can see how well LMQ's laning though. There's a first blood, a full value first blood XDG, and it's equal gold. There's a 600 minion lead just from CS.
Yeah, he's got almost double CS in mid lane there, but that's because he was farming minions while his jungler was dying.
Oh, the smite! Smithy with the steal. Nicely played. That was awesome.
I talked about the blue buff control for the second one, and XDG, because of the overextension from No Name, are able to turn the tables. This is a great sign for XDG. Yeah, that they are able to control second blue buff here. By stealing that one away, they should be able to give away their own to ManCloud.
We talked about Smithy needing to step up for the team to make it happen, make the early plays, and there it is. Smithy, on at least his start to return to form. I think he's played really well so far this game. Javelin removes Xiao's shield. We'll see if XDG can keep this one going. LMQ, I think they're making some good choices though. They've got the Negatron Cloak there for Ackerman. Gonna make his laning phase even better. Vasily and more. Gigantic lead in the bottom lane. 19 minions. They're just forcing XDG away. There's a recall with a minion wave in front of the turret. It's more golden XP lost by XDG.
And turret damage too. As soon as that goes down, the jungle will come under fire. Smithy has guaranteed though that after, wow, No Name's almost dead at the camp right now, by the way. He had to back off that red, I think. He's blinking, yeah. He tried to do red and couldn't finish it. So he's 2 levels down now because of that one misstep where he invaded and he did not talk to the mid laner, or the mid laner just decided not to answer. ManCloud actually turning the jungle fight in Smithy's favor. And Smithy's run with it. They give him a little advantage, and he's made all the right choices here. So you have to give him credit for running with that little advantage that was given to him.
Yeah, he's 2 levels up. It's like a massive lead right there. We're gonna see how much it plays out. Nice win ball there. Xiao up a level on ManCloud though. Nidalee, yeah. I don't know if you want the trades.
Yeah, he wants that cannon minion, but he's gonna make him pay for it. All right, round number 2 with the red buff. No Name, can he do it? Broken Shard is cheering for you.
Oh, it's down to 300 health. There it goes. No Name picks up the red buff. Level 5. 12.4, 12.3. Gold's equal. Smithy showing up for not too much in this one. All right, just, sending a message.
All right, No Name though, finally level 6. Low health pool. Anywhere he goes to the gank right now is actually dangerous for him. If he can get the all-in on Rise though, should be favorable. He's got plenty of mana, but he hasn't been able to transition into defensive items yet. So Benny still has to be wary of that all-in from Renekton. One slice and dice stun could mean everything because there's so many slows on Kha'Zix, especially with red buff. even with Flash, hard for Benny to get to escape.
Yeah, and No Name went over by double golems, right? He didn't get seen by that tri-brush ward. So yeah, I'm pretty sure Benny doesn't know about this. Good win wall. Good read by Xiao actually. Saw that one coming.
In the face.
Yeah.
Talk to the hand.
Taste the wind.
Man, Cloud.
That's OP. Wind is just like overpowered against clouds. They're powerless.
It's true. Look, he's pushing him everywhere.
Exhaust goes down. That keeps Man Cloud safe, but there's the engage at the top turret. Benny very low on health, does not have flash, and he's gonna go down. No Name claims the kill.
That
LMQ
dangerous all in. That matchup can be tipped very easily. Now the Dragon though, Smithy's trying to take the opportunity.
Man Cloud, oh, the shield comes out too. Xiao stays alive.
Taste the claw, Xiao. All right, it's going to be top lane turret traded for Dragon though. Good choice by both junglers. Smithy doing reactionary Dragon there, and they're going to stay fairly close in gold.
We're going to see LMQ's dual lane. I'm actually very surprised that LMQ's dual lane couldn't come up. It was just the fact that the mid lane won. It's like Xiao can't join, show up the Dragon.
Yeah, so they timed it. Not only did mid lane bully out, but also top lane No Name wasn't there. So complete control for XDG and a fairly even trade.
All right, let's see what else these teams can do in this one. We are a 400 gold rather separates these teams. We are a 4 doesn't start that sentence. Mid lane under fire a little bit. Xiao keeping the push going. He's up 26 minions or so in that matchup. 25. Nope, 27. There we go. Going higher. Xiao level 9. ManCloud also 9. He's going to actually spot him on the way in. ManCloud doesn't go for the fight. Doesn't land the javelin either. Xiao still taking some punishment. Look at that. Yeah. Showing no fear in the mid lane there. ManCloud.
Well, look at his build. He's gone with the early arm guard here for the laning phase. It's just so efficient when you're fighting someone who's all attack damage. He actually even skipping the mana regeneration that everybody really wants for mid lane.
Oh, No Name Smithy in a fight as well. Good damage comes out from the Q. He will chase down, kicks him back. Is it going to be enough? No Name. Javelin lands, Black Shield. Keeps the knockout from going through. Q comes through. ManCloud won't seek another one.
Beautiful job right there. Again, mid laners and junglers, the combo has really been the story of this game so far. Sheep coming in with a very quick Black Shield, but it wouldn't have changed much.
Yeah, one javelin away from that one. Nice
Buff
try
number
by everybody.
3. Smithy claims another one.
More gets a ward. Xiao's around. Here comes the teleport. Smithy gets one. Jumps the wall, but there's Xiao. This is dangerous. ManCloud shows up, lands a heal. Xiao. One hit. The tornado. It's going to be Vasily getting the kill, though. 2-1 LMQ.
However, the Dragon's not up since it was already taken much earlier by XDG, so they are not rewarded with that. It's going to have to be mid-turret pressure instead. And they call everybody over for this. They're actually going to trade mid for bottom.
What a great choice, though. LMQ gonna get this one. They've still got half a wave to push tier 2 if they wanted it.
Can they get to? XCG are still pushing bottom.
Good the equal trade. Benny gonna be on defense. Has the ulti for wave clear, but he is diveable. It is a 5 versus 3 right there in the mid lane. It's going to be ManCloud and Zuna pushing alone in the bottom lane. Nice little wind wall there might stop this. Ackerman goes in for Benny, finds the stun. There's a Lulu knockup. The engage from Lulu. Smithy going to be going down 1 for 0 so far. The stun will land. The summoner heal keeping him in the decent spot, but tier 2 turret falls. Actually disengage.
Beautiful confidence from LMQ to dive under a turret, knowing that the 2 carries for XDG are in another lane, shoving down another turret. So not only do XDG trade 2 mid for 2 bottom, but they also come out with it a jungler kill. Very important to get that jungler back in the balance. No Name has caught up now. They need him to be able to start holding his own in those duels. And Kazakh should be able to do that against Lee Sin now that they're on even footing.
Yeah, and he just stole the blue buff away as well, so No Name kind of exerting his will once more in this one. These teams actually equal on total blue buffs grabbed since Smithy died after stealing the last one there. It's going to be 3-3 overall.
All right, this one much more interesting of a game. Even though LMQ have the lead, XDG doing much better than before.
So 1,500 gold. That's the lead right now. Benny and Ackerman in a bit of a duel, and you know, now that there was that small lead, the one turret dive, the single turret dive from No Name, has Ackerman to the point where he can push, and Ackerman's shoving Benny around. That matchup is still going Renekton's way. Early Spectre's Cowl, double Doran's Blade. Vasily makes way bottom lane as well. Another turret goes down, 4-2 in turrets now. XCG continually forced away on the map.
And this is the plan for LQ. No, they were all about important early game. Rise is still scaling up. He's just now completed Rod of Ages, so 25 minutes game time will be when he finally is at full power. He's still charging up the tier, just completing the Rod. They've got a long ways to go. For XCG, they're just trying not to let the gold lead increase any more for LMQ. They have to be worried about those hard engages. Now that No Name is back to becoming a force on the team, they have to watch out once again for the invisible Kazakhs into Lulu ultis.
See how good the engage is going to be when that happens. Smithy just killing his jungle for now. Lizard Elder, of course, done on both junglers, but you're seeing a small item lead for No Name. Hexdrink are going to be joining his inventory soon. Caitlyn poke doesn't land just yet, but XGG, now that we're 60 minutes in, and the first major items start to get completed, is this the beginning of the siege? Good binding!
Great job from Sheep right there.
Stops No Name.
They saw him with the first activation, and the Kazakhs ulti will be down for another minute. Oh, he goes in for try number 2? No.
Might as well use him. Gives move speed. It's on cooldown anyway. Looks like nothing going to be found. No Name still waiting in the wings. They're not watched by these wards, actually. Those are over the wall, but Maglet has something to say about that. Sweeps away.
3-1-3 split push here for LMQ with the AD carry down bottom. Now Lucian, not all that popular for a split pusher, but since he had such a good lead in the lane, he's actually extremely strong in this game. He has the most CS in the entire game right now for Vasily. And because he does have so many people mid guarding, they feel very confident with him getting the edge on that bottom turret. He can actually do some damage to it as well because he's so far ahead here of Zuna. Zuna has to be very careful, whereas Vasily is able to get free shots on the turret.
And here comes the engage from Ackerman, though. Javelin is not going to land into anything, but it does give control for LMQ of his bottom tier 2 turret. Now 5-2. No Name, the Q lands.
There's a deep ward, pink ward here. He
Smithy
could teleport to it.
Oh my gosh, no, just back
He's
to a ward.
teleporting to it.
Let's see what they find. They have to wait some time for some Rise to come in, though. Nice Javelin onto Moore.
He's got a long way to walk.
We have the flanker coming in, but the engage still from Ackerman. Do they get the damage they need? Great Q comes across from Zuna. The jump in, Xiao gonna be able to get the knock up soon. Sheep still trying to run Pop's ulti.
They took too much damage here. Rise is coming from behind, but he can't do anything because the rest of the team soaked up way too much damage. And Benny with the teleport, he found Xiao by himself.
All right, gets some good damage on Shield is almost back up, but gets the solo kill. The Javelin comes through XDG.
So he can do something. He just waits in the bush by himself. And Benny with the one man, can he flash? Okay, that would have been crazy to flash over the wall there. 1-4. But anyways, that teleport was so deep down bottom. It was the very end of that ward that was in lane. And he was trying to cut them off, but the rest of XGD were taking too much damage on the exit path. And they actually get their advantage from Benny walking the entire lane back into the small bush and then waiting to find Xiao on the exit. Okay, so the rest of the team right here is like, okay, Rise is going to engage from the back, right? We got to keep him close. No, we all have to run for our lives. They take a lot of damage, but LMQ do not see Benny this entire time. He teleported so deep back there, they never saw him. And he snuck into this little bush here, Xiao off by himself.
He gets a hit. It spells.
Nice play by
auto attack too.
Hit and spells. Benny gets a kill. Boom.
It's hard with Rise, but he aimed them properly. His mouse was on the right champion.
Also, I guess if we want to point out mechanics, Rise mechanics, all he had to do is walk close enough so that his E will bounce back and forth and get an extra bit of damage.
That is important,
and
though.
It did matter because he barely got the kill.
Yeah, if you didn't know, the cast range of the E is not the bounce range of E. You must walk forward.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind if you want to play some Rise. Walk forward, you press it, there's no one around to bounce too. All right, LMQ. They still feel like the team that's winning. 2,400 golden lead for these guys. Blue buff gonna go Man Cloud's way, so they will have the chance to continue to play the siege if they want.
Huh. Interesting. Xiao is not going into Infinity Edge, which is usually the ginormous power spike for Yasuo, is the Stag Shiv Infinity Edge. It's going with that Blade of the Ruined King. Now, this is something that Inox actually rushed at the very beginning of the season. A lot of people gave him a lot of flack for it. But it just gives him more chase potential.
Yeah.
And also his Q does apply lifesteal on hit effects, so he can benefit from it that way as well.
Also, it benefits from attack speed rather than cooldown reduction, so all the attack speed that's packed into a Blade of the Ruined King also benefits Yasuo.
Yeah.
Seems like a really weird buy, but it's actually very effective.
Yeah, it makes him like a better chaser and better CC champion, as opposed to like the just dedicated DPS bro.
Oh, dangerous face check!
Okay, Sheep gonna take a bunch of damage. Ulti comes across, but this might be too much for him. The disengage from Smithy. Sheep, oh, the kick back to Ackerman as well, but it's a 1-for-0 so far. Spell's getting blocked.
He's got a blue buff though. ManCloud's got plenty more javelins in his inventory.
Oh, man. No name deletes Smithy. 5-2 on the map, and LMQ. This Baron's going down quickly.
Vasily, though, takes the ace in the hole.
And they're going to disengage. LMQ forced away by the javelins and the ultis. XEG do secure this.
All right. Yeah, Ackerman going with a full magic resistance build and a blade as well, actually. The early cutlass from him. He really likes, on pretty much all the tanks that he gets, at least getting a little cutlass so he can stick on his AD carry target.
All right, turret goes down. XEG finds some way back into this one. But it's still a 2,500 gold game for these guys. See if they can find much else for themselves.
I also kind of like this build from Ackerman because he's tailored it to split push against Ryze. He's got full magic resist and then an extra slow too after his stun wears off to make sure that he can chase Benny if he does get the upper hand in a duel. So interesting Renekton build here because he will be isolated with Ryze for a lot of the game.
Yes, so very much counter building. We'll see what else we can do with this one. Interestingly, it is the Ruined King Renekton build. I forget if you said that one.
Yes, sir, I did.
Yep. Just wanted to reiterate that one. My apologies. Smithy, not quite fun on the way in. No name going to get revealed as well.
So they didn't take the Baron, though, but the face check still hit home. Let's see how long LMQ can stall this and buy Ackerman time to get work done on the inhibitor turret. XDG can't wait around for this to happen.
Well, the clear's coming through. There's not much time left. There's a pings coming out.
LMQ just need to stop these backs.
But he's recalling on top of a ward. Will Moore go for the stop on this one? Looks like not. They know that. Yeah.
Now they go for the engage and the teleport, though.
That was so smart.
Switch.
All right, Smithy has nowhere to go. He's going to walk back away to pull them away from his team, but that still could mean Baron for LMQ.
Yeah, they let him recall so that they can gain the advantage of mid lane, and Benny is left with empty hands down bottom, having to walk his way all the way up towards Baron.
LMQ, they don't see that ward.
They'll see that when it expires in a couple seconds here. Now, the ward expires, they know that there was vision in here.
I think there's enough for XDG to know that LMQ aren't doing it yet.
Yeah, the jungler's outside the pit. That'll tip you off.
Dark Bond not going to land much. Hexmaker has been popped, so 90-second cooldown on that one. Ackerman forced away, so a 1-for-0.
Ooh, big wave up top, and XDG shove mid. This is a really good call by them. They want to make LMQ pay for soaking up that wave top.
And Benny still has teleport if he needs to rejoin the team more quickly. Vasily is far away. Xiao puts up enough breath, though. ManCloud's got to be careful. Exhaust comes through, goes to the engage onto Zuna. He's taking a bunch of pain, stays alive for now. Ulti from Sheep, but it's a disengage for XDG.
That was such clean play from Xiao. Angling the knockup to hit both targets. So even if Black Shield goes on Nidalee, then he can ult the AD carry and gain some range. However, he didn't have the rest of the team there. Nobody was around to follow up. And they do not get the hard engage. And they'll have to wait for that ulti to come right back up.
Wow, but nice heads-up play by XDG. They get the blue buff steal all the same, just because of the movements of where LMQ went after that fight. So, timer still being kept.
1 minute away from a fully charged Rod here on Ryze. He's getting towards the late game potential of the champion, and he still has his teleport up, since he actually recalled and didn't use it to go down bottom. So he can soak those minions forever down bottom.
And a ward comes down, but here comes the engage, the knockup of the Yasuo. Smithy did not get the Black Shield in time, and he goes down. That's a 1-for-0 XGG forced to run, but Sheep didn't make his way out fast enough. Ackerman takes him out.
All right, LMQ just jump right on them around Baron once again, and they do not hesitate. The cooldown on Yasuo ult's so low, they're able to get a second initiation, and this time it should be the Baron, having taken out both the Black Shield and the jungler. LMQ commit fully to this Baron.
Well, XGG gonna commit to it as well. Baron down very low on health. Smithy not around. Ackerman taking damage. There's Baron going down. Teleport by Benny doesn't do anything. XGG forced away.
That was a pretty big step for LMQ too. They really needed that pick because they do not want to wait around for this fully powered up Rise.
So, XCG hold on to what gold they can. This is game 3 in a series that's already 2-0 for LMQ. And you gotta think, what are the players thinking right now? XCG backs completely against the wall.
Consolation prize picked up. The gold lead is not as bad as it was in the first 2 games.
True.
For XDG, and they have been able to control blue buffs throughout this entire game. However, we haven't seen high impact Nidalee Spears. LMQ just don't give them enough time to throw out spears. He maybe gets 1 or 2 spears at most for most of these fights, and LMQ get an engaged in that time.
Yeah, so ManCloud just getting Morellonomicon recently. Morellonomicon Zhonya's his build overall.
Actually,
Morellonomicon was the first
he
one.
got that right after the arm guard.
Yeah, sorry, the Zhonya is being added for a little bit more AP, but ultimately the point I was going for is no Magic Pen yet and no Death Cap yet. I mean, you got Sword Shoes now, but this is the first time we're seeing the build actually start to go up in damage. You were talking about low impact javelin, so that's where I was going for with that one.
Yeah, I thought he was actually going to sit on the arm guard even longer than this, but he has turned it into the Zhonyas just to be even more defensive. However, it's not going to save him from a combo. If he gets caught in the knock-up Yasuo ult and Kha'Zix's 3-man combo there, then that CC duration will probably cost him his life.
Absolutely can. We'll see how good the Black Shields are. And if Sheep can keep his team alive, he's had some great Black Shields. Some of them have been like freaking awesome.
Ones. Yeah.
It's going to be a lot on him. The Black Shields really can't be broken. LMQ doesn't have any magic damage. So the shield will pretty much last the entire duration, unless like a static shift crit knocks it down. XCG is still trying to wave clear. They are fighting a Baron buff though, and to me that's generally stronger than a low pen Nidalee. More dodges that.
Really, they're looking for that opening once again. Get the knock-up on multiple people. If you get multiple people, then it doesn't matter who you Black Shield. So ManCloud and Zuna really have to be cognizant of their position and step right there it is!
2-man knock-up. There's the engage. Exhaust used on Xiaowei Xiao. No name force back under the turret though. This could be a little bit greedy. Akuma getting chased down. Benny goes in for the fight. Has to flash back away. Xiaowei Xiao still on the chase. Mikhail's used. Turret does go down. 5 versus 5. The re-engage. LMQ finds some more damage. Push goes back into Xiaowei Xiao. He's been pushed away. But that is still a fight win for LMQ. The push in. ManCloud heals in time.
All right, so half the team was backing off here for LMQ. Vistili just saw a favorable trade to take. And if the rest of the team was still on push mode, they could have gotten it. Really, they're timing their back right now so that they have enough time with Baron to do another push. And also get items after taking down not only the Baron, but also the turret that they just grabbed.
So great stuff for these guys. You're seeing now 6,000 gold. This number has been growing now for a while. XCG had some good early moves, right? That first blood, ManCloud and Xmithie. But for all of Xmithie's aggression, he started to get punished for it.
Yeah.
0, 5, and 2. He made early moves, but no late moves, unfortunately. LMQ played around the poke very, very well. The Kha'Zix Lulu engages have been great. And it seems like LMQ just keep finding these picks throughout the game.
And Xiao Xiao's Yasuo is definitely fun to watch as well. I like this Blade of the Ruin King, very fast-moving build. Lowering the cooldown on his Q as well. It's interesting to see. He's going for that third item, Infinity Edge, though. So he's still going to get that power spike just a little bit later.
And even still, he's like splashing MR just to make sure. He's like, well, I'll grab an Egatron Cloak because javelins do hurt. There's going to be some time until Void Staff comes through, maybe 1,000 gold still. So we'll see. No Name going to get the blue buff. This one's secured successfully. He's gotten very few overall, but that one's going to be his. Of course, Xiaowei Xiao doesn't need it. ManCloud taking some big damage. Vistili pops the culling. There's the Zhonya's Zuna forced away. ManCloud flashes. It's not going to be enough. Down goes the kill. The chase, and he gets Zuna. 2 for 0. The flash away from Sheep. Here's the jump in for Xiaowei Xiao. This could be the game-winning push. LMQ going down the front door inhibitor.
Vistili takes down both carries by himself, and LMQ can run straight into the base.
Is it going to be enough now for the Nexus? Benny's going to be there. 5 versus 3. Ackerman tanks turret number 1, and there's the minion wave. Smite comes through. Ackerman jumps in towards Benny. There's a damage in. Rise gets deleted in about 2 seconds. Turret number 2 under fire as well. Can LMQ just close it out? This will be their LCS spot. There's revives coming in for Zuna and ManCloud, but the damage still coming through. LMQ diving in, they find another kill. They're finding the Nexus, the damage comes in, and that's the 3-0. LMQ are in the LCS.
And they absolutely deserve this spot. LMQ played perfectly. They were so strong. Absolutely 3-0 versus XDG. Definitely earning their way into the North American LCS.
The individual play was on point. The team play was on point. The lack of hesitation through and through. Occasionally it backfired. Okay, they gave away a first blood at one point, but the fact that they went in for the kills. The Kha'Zix Lulu engages were awesome against this Pope composition. They were ready for it, and LMQ played it absolutely right.
Yeah, they're leaving no doubt in anyone's mind. They spent so much. They invested everything coming over here and playing through the Challenger Series. They played through both splits of the Challenger Series, won it convincingly, and now they are, the last step that they were looking towards has finally been complete. They're into the LCS now. Now it's time to turn their sights towards Worlds. They need to perform in the next split if they want a chance of actually going all the way.
And how high can they raise the bar now for themselves? We heard on the analyst desk, Skara and Dominate saying, yeah, they're like a top 5 North American team probably. I don't think they can probably compete with the legs of Cloud9, but well, look, you got to earn one of those spots. You got to be in the top echelon.
They are going to compete with the likes of Cloud9.
They're going to
We will see it happen.
Yeah, they're going to be some fun games. We will see these guys play throughout the summer split, and they're a good team to watch. Their individual skill is there. Their team play is there. They are the opposite of gun shy. These guys, like, for some reason, like, that's the reason they're popping up. They're trigger happy. That's actually exactly the right word I'm going for. These guys, right? And we talked about Chinese teams at Worlds last year, how they are aggressive. They will tower dive you. They will make plays, and they will swarm you. And that is what LMQ does with this type of composition. But they can siege as well. They've got the breadth of options, and the play backs it up. These guys are great. We're going to send it now over to Jat, Scar, and Dominate for the analyst desk. For more on LMQ's 3-0 Day on the Rift.
Thank you, Freak. And guys, 3-0. All the games were around 30 minutes. The overall kill score of the series was 8-42. It was just a dominant series by LMQ in general. Skara, you predicted the 3-1 for XGG. How did they change your mind?
Let's just say I was openly optimistic about that 3-1.
Yeah.
It just seemed like, I don't know, it just seemed like the teamwork wasn't there. Because, I thought that XCG would have like good looks, and they kind of did for a little bit. Like it kind of looked good for a little bit of the game, and then they just got rolled. And I don't know. I just thought they'd come out with a stronger performance. That's it.
Dominate overall impression on the series here?
I think it just really speaks a testament to how good LMQ is. They've just been performing like they did everything they needed to do. They came over early. They practiced hard every day. They went through 2 series of Coke Zero, and they just deserve to be in the LCS. So that's pretty much just how I view it.
Yeah, I mean, now that they are in the LCS, especially being a team that did come over from China, what are they going to uniquely bring into the LCS as a team?
I just think their individual play is very, very high. So it's going to be very nice playing against another team, and especially in another mid laner as good as Xiao Zhao. Like, that's going to be very interesting, at least for me, for Summer Split.
How are teams going to have to adapt to LMQ in the LCS now, Dominate?
I think the teams are, at first, just kind of try to play them just like any other team. Maybe we'll see a little bit more like Nidalee bans or something towards them, but I think that they're going to have to kind of prove what they can play at an LCS level, and then from there, teams will kind of adapt and comp around it.
Yeah, something that's so interesting for me is how, even though they are a Chinese team, they've been involved in the North American meta, and they will continue to be. Are they going to be able to keep that Chinese metagame going, or are they going to become another North American team with Chinese players?
I think the Chinese meta just kind of got destroyed with this patch. Like, you don't see aggressive early game dives anymore because it's just not worth it anymore. So I don't think we'll see like a Chinese meta because I don't think the Chinese meta got pretty broken apart with the last patch.
Yet LMQ in this series was able to go 8-42 and in all games in under 30 minutes. Was that just them being superior?
Yeah, I think that was just them playing better. Like it wasn't an early game lead. I don't think on any portion of the game did they have like a sub 10-minute like huge lead like a lot of Chinese teams would do in last season or the seasons before. If anything, it was just better mid-game pressure and better teamwork.
Yeah, Dominate. Do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think it was just mainly just an outperformance. When teams are at like a really high level, once they get the advantage, they're normally pretty quick to close it out. So I think it just really showed that they are like an LCS professional level team and they know how to close out games.
Yeah, and I also have to look at this now. Obviously, when a team makes it into the LCS, it means another team didn't. XGG had been in the LCS, Spring Split 2013, Summer 2013. They've been in it for a while. What do you think happens to these players? Do they go play in Coakley? Do they try to come back? There's still a lot of talent on that team. Do you see some interesting things happening there?
I think maybe some of the players may go to different teams, but I'm not sure. I don't know if they'll stick around in the Challengers series. Although I would like them to be, it doesn't feel like their team is going to do that for some reason.
Yeah, especially in between games, we saw them at Game 2 just being demoralized. We all kind of said with that attitude they're going to lose Game 3, but beyond that, Dominate, what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, I can't really see them staying together after this. I think it's too hard for them personally to have been in the LCS for so long. I think that what they need to do is just have a change. Maybe they keep a couple members from the team and they replace some people. Maybe some players go to different teams. Maybe Benny goes to CLG or something. You never know. But I definitely think that it's going to be hard for them to remain. I don't think that they'll stay as 5.
Yeah, so long together and now unfortunately being knocked out in the LCS. And it's really just been now the first team being dropped out. Europe didn't have any teams. Really quick look going towards tomorrow. How many teams end up being switched out in the North American LCS? Do we have 1? Do we see 2 or 3?
I personally think it's only going to be 1. I think that LMQ definitely had the best shot of taking it. But the other teams, I think, will have much harder time. EG has been practicing a lot. They obviously want to keep their spot. Coast was fighting for playoffs not that long ago, so I definitely see those teams coming out with a stronger performance.
Scar, quick final thoughts on that?
I think Coast will make it back in. I'm just hesitant to say what I think about the EG game. Like, I think it's slightly favored to EG, but that game is going to probably be the closest series of this week.
All right, well, we'll have to see that tomorrow. Huge thanks to Scar. Huge thanks to Dominate. Thank you guys very much for joining us on the desk. But for now, let's send it back to freaking Kobe for a preview of tomorrow's action.
Thank you very much, chat. Let's take a look now at how the North American League Championship Series Summer Split is taking shape. With a 3-0 sweep, LMQ have secured their place, but there are still 2 spots open. Tomorrow, we're bringing you another full day with 2 best-of-5 series that will decide who else joins and returns to the LCS.
Yep, we're going to start the day with a best-of-5 series between Evil Geniuses and Cloud9 Tempest. And then Coast battles Complexity Black in our second best-of-5 series.
The action gets underway Sunday at 10 a.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Central European Summer Time. Now for myself, Kobe, Jat, Skara, I will dominate in the entire live broadcast crew. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.
Bye.
Easily dive back in. They've been forced backwards, but a shockwave 1-3. Here comes the push. The wish might not be enough. Zuna goes down for first blood. Smithy, he's going to fall as well. No survive for now, but Benny falls 1 for 1 though. Big 3-man shock is going to be a lot for that one. Mancloud falls as well. Now Zuna chased down. Only Sheep alive. That's going to be game 1. 28 minutes. And LMQ are 1/3 of the way into the LCS. Vasily does get spotted by the takeboard hook onto Ackerman. This fight might start it. He jumps in the back line. Great knockup for the kick back. Sheep are going to get dived on. He goes down. Vasily finds 1. Benny goes down as well. Double kill.
Ben making any plays, going for anything here.
Vasily really dodging everything. That was awesome.
And come in with his ulti if they get a pick.
Smithy wants to go, kicks in. Vasily gets knocked up by Lulu though. Here comes the fight. More is low. Mancloud goes down right away without getting his shockwave down. Here comes Zuna trying to turn it back around, but 1 game to go, and LMQ is in the LCS. Big damage, Vasily pops the culling. There's the Zonia, Zuna forced away. Mancloud flashes, it's not going to be enough. Down goes the kill. The chase, and he gets Zuna. This will be their LCS spot. There's revives coming in for Zuna and Mancloud, but the damage still coming through. LMQ diving in, they find another kill. They're finding the Nexus, the damage comes in, and that's the 3-0. LMQ are in the LCS.